You are shy? Come this way. Come this side. All of you have to come here. Can you tell us your name?
Okay. My name is Ife.
Efe or Ife?
Ife.
Ife. Oh. It is Ife that I'm hearing Efe. Okay. Ife what? So if you mention your last name, then we will have an idea.
My name is Ife Disu.
Disu. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we know who you are.
I'm 18 years old. I just turned 18 at the end of July. I came from England for the Teenagers HMT. I'm here with my mum and my sister, and yeah.
Any expectation from you? Any expectation from your side? What do you think? Why do you think your mom and your dad should make the sacrifice for you to be here? What do you think their expectations are, or what are your expectations?
Personally, my expectations for this are just to find out more about myself, because I'm going to uni in a month. So I think
in a month.
Yeah, just under a month. So I think it's really important for me to figure out how I can use my talents and stuff. And the future to how I can use my talent to support myself, and yeah, just finding out more about who I am and why I'm on earth, basically.
Brilliant. So that's your own expectation, right?
Yeah.
That's very smart. You should be very smart. Because not too many people, for example, I was speaking with one of the adults in this house who is also from England. And the person told me that she is over 30, and she said she even never heard of that question being asked, that who am I, why am I here, and what am I here for? So she's lived twice your age, and she's not even thought about it.
Okay.
So how come you are thinking about it so early?
I guess it's just because, I don't know, I just lately, the past couple of months, I've been having a lot of doubt about what I'm meant to do, and especially about what I'm going to do after uni, because I know during university I'm going to do my business degree, go on a placement year, probably do a semester or a year abroad or something, but after that I just don't know what I'm going to do with my life. So I think the question has just been bugging me for a while, so I just want to get some answers.
Brilliant. Any other person would like to be the next one? Who is as bold enough to come to be the next one? All of you still have to come, but anyway. So come, anyone. I know that this, right? What is BTS?
They're a group that I like.
What?
They're a music.
Oh, well. I guess I'm a little bit old-fashioned and old age, so I don't know who they are.
So my name's Ade. I'm 15.
Does Ade mean anything in the full?
My full name's Ade Olua.
Ade Olua.
Yeah.
I never heard a name like that before.
It's my name is Ife Olua.
Ife Olua, and yours is Ade Olua. What does that mean?
It's crown of God. Yeah.
Okay, God's crown. Okay, now I got it.
I'm 15. I'm Ife's sister. I'm also from England, and I'm here with my mum as well. Came for HMT because I want to
Gavaraj to be Grom Shebila.
I want to certify what the purpose for me being here is. I want to make sure that I've got it fully cleared out in my mind, so I know exactly what I'm going to do and how I'm meant to fulfill it and what impact it's going to have on the world.
So this is basically the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
You want to know? Huh?
Oh.
Speak louder, though, they say. Okay. Very good. Okay, who is going to be the next one? Please come on. Come on here. Come this way.
Thank you.
Wow, they've only got ladies, girls. Yeah. No boys. Okay, go ahead.
So, my name is Abiola Kolawole, and I came here
What was the name?
Abiola Kolawole, and I came here with my mom.
Kolawole, yeah.
Yeah, I came here with my mom, and I'm 16. Also came from England.
Speak louder.
I'm 16, and I also came from England. And what I hope to get from this is to kind of get back on track, because it's kind of been really weird for me. Like it's been obvious to everyone that my mom was the one that even introduced me to this. Like, it's been obvious that I've not really been doing what I'm supposed to be, and I say that what I want to do is because I've told everyone this already. Everyone knows this. I want to be a music producer, but I haven't really been showing that I want to be it, and I haven't really been researching and stuff. And I just feel like it's down to procrastination and laziness, and I just don't want to have that anymore. So, yeah.
Nada naitine kat naiti swale prizwane. Unaziita kuiteme. Yes, iba prose.
Yeah, so I just don't want to be. I also want to find out a way that I can get back on track, and actually, because the thing about it now is that these days everyone's always asking you at a young age, what do you want to be, what do you want to be. So so that's why I always had that pressure, because obviously my mom wanted me to be doctor, lawyer, engineer, accountant.
Your mom must be an African mom.
Yeah. So she wasn't really accepting of what I wanted to be, because at first I was thinking, I must be a singer, because my voice, I can't even sing, but I thought I should be a singer because I must make it. It's by force. So yeah, but it's obviously evolved into that, because for a while I was really lost. I didn't really, because music is really big for me. So it was I was in a place where I didn't know what I wanted to be. People ask me, what do you want to study in university? And it's like, I want to study music, but everyone's telling me that it's not really good, it's not practical, so what am I going to study then? Because I don't really find anything I'm passionate about besides music.
I think we are going to be able to help you this week.
Okay.
So I'm not going to tell you to be in a hurry. Just take your time. Make sure you follow all the teachings we'll be doing this week. Answer all the questions. And by the end of the week, you will be more certain about what you want to be.
Okay.
All right. So who is the next one? Okay, come on. Are you Ogedengbe? Yeah, I can remember your sister. Your face reminds me of your sister.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Esther Ogedengbe. I'm 16. I'm coming from England. I'm here with my mom, and I've come here to obviously discover my purpose, why exactly who I am, and when I find out who I am, I'll be able to find the reason why I've been put on this earth to achieve what I need to do. So I personally think this HMT would help me to obviously become the true history maker I need to be. So that's why I'm here.
I know you. You've been here before. I know you. Oh, you got Youth History Makers Training 2017? Wow! Brilliant, brilliant, good idea.
My name is Sydney. I'm 11 years old, and I'm here with my sister and my mum. And my expectations here is to find out my purpose on earth, and to also learn more about myself and my personality and what I can achieve in life.
Somebody else is that to take over from you.
My name's Sadie.
Sadie?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a new name for me.
I'm 10 years old, and my expectations here is to discover why I was put on this earth and who I'm meant to be, and how
to become that person.
Yeah.
You are meant to be. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay. What's your name again? Yeah.
Kenny.
Kenny, yeah, come. Yep.
How you guys doing today? That's good? That's all right? How you doing, Pastor? How you doing? Well, my name is Kenny Ume. I am Igbo American. I am from the U.S. I came from the U.S. I am 27 years old. Tomorrow, actually, is my birthday. Yeah. And the expectation of me coming, I actually have a business called One Voice Applied. It stands for One Voice Applied, meaning one voice and anyone can change someone's perspective on life. My purpose is basically to shine the broader lights and the positivity of Africa, Nigeria, starting with Nigeria, so America and every other country could depict the positives of Africa, because, you know, America really only sees the negative light that Africa has. So my goal is to shine the brightness on Africa in all the positivity. My brand is centered on culture. My hashtag is like find your culture, like where are you from, where are you from, where are you from, no matter what you look like. And I actually...
What about the European culture?
The European culture?
Does that count?
Yeah, it does. It definitely counts. It definitely counts.
Well, you want to impose the African culture?
I want to oppose the African culture first. That's my main, and then go to other cultures. But I actually do that through fashion. I'm not wearing it right now. I should. But I actually...
But you're going to be here every day.
I'm going to be here every day, so you're going to see my designs. I actually do that through fashion. I express myself through fashion, music, and entertainment. I have my bachelor's degree in entertainment media management, so that's the business side of entertainment. And I really am coming here to learn more. I feel like I could learn a lot of information through just being in another country, seeing a different culture, and I want to get my business to another level and project my ideas for more exposure. So, hey guys,
someone from the internet is asking you, wow, did he just say Igbo American? They want you to explain that.
Igbo American is my culture. My family is from Nigeria. We're Igbo, Anambra State. And I was born in America. That equals Igbo American. You guys get it? I just innovated that, by the way. If you guys didn't know, that was if you're African American. Yeah.
Not Black American.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but he invented it.
Yeah. Not African American, I'm Igbo American. Yeah. So thank you, I appreciate it,
guys. Thank you. That's Kenny. Remember that name?
No.
That's Kenny. Yeah, and I think Kenny has got a big plan for his visit to Ukraine, and his plan is not just to attend this HMT because he has finished college. He wants to be in Ukraine for as long as possible for him to be able to pick and learn. He wants to take all he can take before he leaves Ukraine. And I promise him that by the time he finishes here, after 6 months or 1 year or wherever he's going to stay, that America is going to take notice that someone has just come back to America. Okay, not my way. I think this is for Babusha. Someone is asking, please, what are the requirements and cost necessary things needed to participate in HMT? Maybe you want to tell them that, or how can they still register or come and join you or whatever? I don't know. They are just asking. Microphone.
Okay, good evening all. I'm Babusha. I'm the coordinator for the HMT. So if you still want to come, you can still make it if you are a citizen of any of the European countries. If you don't need visa, yes, you can
American too.
Or American. You can still come. All what you need is to buy a ticket and
jump in the plane.
Yes, I will be here to gladly welcome you and accept you here with us.
So they are asking, what are the requirements? Any requirements, or do you go to the Sunday Adelaja blog?
They should go to sundayadelajablog.com/visit and register. sundayadelajablog.com/visit and register.
What about if they just write to you directly? How do they do that?
They can reach me on WhatsApp.
Oh, okay. What's the WhatsApp number?
+380-9360-30405. Again, +380-9360-30405. Yes, so that should be the requirement.
So you'll be able to supply them with all the information?
Yes, yes, I will be able to.
Okay, they want to know, till when will you be here? Will we all be here?
We'll be all here till Friday.
Till Friday?
Yes. Okay. So we're just starting, so it's still...
Somebody could still fly in tomorrow?
Yes, and definitely make it.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Do they necessarily need to come with their parents, or they could come, they could send the, if they send the kid, could we meet them at the airport?
Yes, yes. Actually, that has really been the challenge. Parents really are not too free to send their kids. It's not a problem. We can always meet them. Yes, they can. You can send them, and we're going to meet you at the airport and pick up your kids. So there is no any concern about that. And even changing planes, some parents were concerned about transiting from one country to the other, which shouldn't be a problem as well, because I believe every airport has security, police. No, your child is definitely not going to miss. So once you put him on the plane, he arrives to whatever country he's going to transit. He's just going to connect to the other flight, which I believe he will make it to Ukraine. Once he's here, he's under our responsibility. We'll meet him at the airport and pick him up. And
they said from what age?
We're starting from age 10 to 20, but I believe we've extended that age as well. So till, what, we're looking till 24, 25, as much as possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So that just to say a little few words about the HMT, but we have to continue talking about our topic. This whole week we've been talking, not just this whole week, this whole month we've been talking about, from last month actually, we've been talking about truth. For the 4th week now, we've been talking about truth. And what we are talking about right now is, why do people reject the truth? Why do people reject truth? People will normally reject truth because of different reasons. And I've already given you the different reasons why people will reject the truth. And yesterday I started another another topic, which was one of the reasons why people will reject the truth. People reject the truth because they reject the source of truth. And I think this is particularly interesting for the young people that are here, because most of you are Africans, or African American, or African British. So, because, let me tell you a thing, let me begin to talk to you now, you kids that are here, that unfortunately, and I hope, or I'm sure some of you already know what that means, unfortunately, but Sydney, let me start with you. So you want to find out why you came, right? Why you came to this world, why God brought you here. Soon you are going to find that out. This thing I'm going to tell you, don't be disappointed because of it, but just be poised and be prepared and be ready for it. A lot of people, when you discover who you are supposed to be, and when you begin to do that thing that you're supposed to do, you might find out that some people might not be ready or willing to accept what you need to offer, not because you don't have a substantial product to offer, and not because you don't have the truth, or you don't have the true product to offer. But I'm sorry to say, some people will not accept what you have just because you are African or because you are black. So that's just the way life is. Or some people are going to look down at you or on you because you are black. Or some people are not going to respect you because you are black. Or some people are going to think that you are inferior to them because of the way you look. Or because you are a woman, because you are not just a black person, but you are a black girl. So that's the second challenge. Being black is going to be another challenge that you are going to be standing up against and facing. So what I'm trying to say, Sydney, is that it's not because you are wrong, or it's not because you are not saying what is right, and it's not because you are not telling the truth or you don't have the truth on your side. But some people are not going to accept you just because they don't like you. And it's my daughter who is coming in here now. Her name is Pearl. She never understood that at first. Maybe we never emphasized that enough for her to know. But when she's still in high school, she's still in school. But while she was in school, she expected people to celebrate her. She was expecting everybody to celebrate her for her abilities, for her brightness, for her wisdom. Because in the house, she's used to everybody celebrating her. And in the church, she's used to people celebrating her. So, but then she got into an atmosphere in her school where nobody cares for her. Or people don't really care for who she is. Either she scores good marks, she used to score good marks in school, and she thought that was good enough to make everybody come around her and celebrate her. But nobody cared. Everybody just lived their life. So she became to be violent. I mean, not violent, but to be reactional, or to be agitated, or to be nervous because of that. So that began to affect her. So that's why I'm talking to you now, Sydney, and all of you, that it is just the fact of life. And one of the fact of life is the fact that you don't have to be bad for people to treat you bad. So you don't be deceived. Don't ever be deceived thinking because people are treating you bad, then you are bad. Their response to you doesn't dictate who you are. Their response to you doesn't tell you who you are. They don't tell you who you are. You know who you are by God and from God. God knows who you are. God made you who you are, and God cannot be wrong. So God is right about you. And you, when you find out who you are from God and you know who you are, still people will not believe you or like you or follow you just because it is you or just because of the way you look. Because you are a lady, because you are a woman, because you are a girl, or because you are black, or because you are tall, or because you are slim, or because you are not tall, different reasons. So that is good for you to know that. Because I saw that in my daughter, Pearl, that she was not preparing for that. She was thinking people are going to tell her that you are the best every day. But the reality of life is, even if you are the best, that is the truth. But people don't always go by the truth. Because in this world, some people will not accept the truth because of the source of that truth. Or because of the carrier of that truth. So in the case of Paul, she was having her own truth about who she is. Well, God knows about that. But you are dealing not with God right now, you are dealing with real people. Your parents and your relatives know about that, but they are not there with you in the school, because in her classroom, maybe she was the only black person there. Okay, two of them are there are only two people in her class that are black. She herself and one other guy. So nobody cares, and your parents will not be there to consider your own truth. So you're all on your own. So, but instead of you waiting for people to recognize your truth, what is more important for you is to know that you are sure of your own truth. You must be sure of who you are. And one of the very first things you have to be sure about is that it doesn't matter how I look. I could be black. I might have wide nose. I might have wide nose. I might have wide lips. I might be ugly in your own estimation. I might be short, or I might be too big, or anyhow I look. it doesn't matter. But the real thing that is the truth is that what does God think about who I am and how I look? What God thinks is that I am wonderfully and fearfully made or beautifully made. I am wonderfully and fearfully made and beautifully made. That is the truth, because no opinion could go higher than God's opinion. So that is God's opinion. So it doesn't matter what you think. I carry the truth. But I must be sure of the truth, that I am not inferior to anybody. I am not worse than anybody. In fact, nobody is better than me. That is the truth. Why? God created me as beautifully and wonderfully as He created you. You are not worse than, I'm not worse than you. You are not worse than me. So truth, we are all carriers of our own truth, and we are all. By the time you discover yourself and your calling, you are going to be a carrier of a truth through your product that you are going to be producing. If you are going to become a fashion designer, through your fashion, you are going to be a carrier of your own truth through that fashion. Maybe you are going to be a writer through your books and articles. You are going to be carrying and communicating your own truth. But don't be deceived thinking everybody is going to buy into that truth. Some people are going to reject that truth just because you are the one carrying that truth, just because of who you are, because you are black, or because you are a girl, or because you are having an accent, or because of your name. You know, it could be any reason why some people will reject the truth. And it's good to know this, because once you know this, you're going to be much more at peace with what people do. For example, do you know that in England, so since most of you are from England, you can sit down now. Some of you are from England. Do you know that there is the culture of stabbing in schools? Have you ever heard of stabbing? Okay. Why is it that other kids will stab other kids? Well, I came in touch, or I came across that when I came to Europe myself. So it's good that we're having all of you here as teenagers. So I'm going to preach, and I want to appeal to all our viewers who are watching us. I'm going to be preaching this principle of truth more using not adult examples, but using examples that will be able to relate to people, to the kids here. So people don't always know or want to, might not even be interested in knowing the truth that you represent or that you carry, just because they don't like something about you. When I just came here, I was 19 years old when I came to Europe. So when I was back in Africa, most people around me were like me. Almost never saw white people. Only a few white people I saw. All the people in my country were black like me. So nobody ever discriminated against me on the basis of the fact that I was black. And then nobody ever called me monkey. I never even knew you could be called monkey. So, but when I came to Ukraine here, there were people who were calling nigger, monkey, all kind of names. Now, what did that lead to? Because the people who are with me, my other colleagues who are Africans like me, students, they knew they were not monkeys. Just like I knew too that I was not a monkey. They knew they were not a monkey, and I knew I was not a monkey. So what they did, because they knew it was not true what they were saying, what these other youth in the street were saying, they knew the truth about themselves. The truth about themselves is that they, even though they are black, but they are human beings. They knew that was the truth. And they now wanted to enforce that truth through violence upon the white people, the white youth who were calling them names. So each time these African kids or students were being called names or were being taunted at or laughed at, you know what they would do? They would get angry and they would try to go and be confrontational, to go and fight. What did that lead to? Breaking of bottles, stabbing each other. So what am I trying to say? The culture of stabbing and things like that happening, a lot of that is happening because of wrong response to your truth. Somebody has an opinion, which is my truth, and then other people refuse to recognize my truth or my opinion. Or they say bad things about me. They reject my truth because of me, because of this, because they don't like the source of that truth. Not because I was not even right, or I was wrong. Because the African guys who were fighting, they were right that they were humans. They were right that they were not monkeys. So they had the truth on their side. But their truth was not recognized by people who are calling them monkeys. But what should then be my right reaction when I'm rejected? What should be my right reaction when I'm rejected? So while my black African guys are trying to fight, I try to cool them down and I say, hey, wait, because they kill each other, they damage. But when I'm called monkey, let's say, let's say you are the one who called me monkey. So I come from where I am and I say, I come, and they think I'm coming to fight. So I come and say, oh yeah, okay, hello, you just said monkey, right? Yes. What about hugging a live monkey? I could give you that opportunity. Maybe you could look closer, and I want to give you a hug so that you feel what it is like hugging a live monkey. So they begin to be protective and be defensive and say, oh, we are just joking. No, okay. They will begin to laugh. I laugh. They laugh. Then we begin to, because they were expecting violence and they were expecting, aggression. But I presented aggression, but aggressive love. So I presented aggressive love of my truth, but not negative aggression, not evil aggression, because evil will never overcome evil. Only love can overcome evil. So I presented aggressive love. So then what happens is that when we get back to the dormitory, my fellow Africans will begin to be angry at me. And they begin to say, you are embarrassing us. How could you be saying this? You are a live monkey. How could you be saying that? What do you think what you are saying at all? Think about what you are saying. They are calling you monkey and then you are going to say, yes, I'm a monkey, hug me. Is that what you're trying to say? You are a disgrace, all those things. But they don't know. So I tell them, did you see what happened at the end of the day? What happened was that we end up hugging. And what happened was that we end up laughing. And do you know what happened the other day to the other people who didn't think just the same way, who were trying to overcome evil by evil? Because their truth was not accepted, they were trying to enforce their truth by force, not by love. They broke each other's head, they hurt each other, and they are in the hospital right now. And some of them are dead. So when you see the culture of stabbing in England schools or English schools, it could be because somebody was called names. Because why were you being called names? Because your truth is not being recognized. Your truth is the fact that you are decent, you are a creation of God. You are God's image and likeness. But that is not being recognized, even though that's the truth. And instead of your truth being recognized, they were trying to call you names. So you want to defend yourself, and then stabbing begins. So the only way when you are rejected like that, and when your truth is not being accepted, keep on loving. Make sure you even increase your aggression. You must be more aggressive than you were. And the aggression you have to present, it must be the aggression of love and the aggression of kindness. You remember when the Bible says in Romans 12 that when your enemy is hungry, go give him food to eat. When your enemy is thirsty, go give him water to drink. Aggressive love, aggressive kindness, because it's only love that can overcome evil. So what I'm saying is that, yes, the fact that you are being rejected or you are not being accepted doesn't mean that you are wrong. The fact that you are being rejected and not being accepted doesn't mean that the truth is not on your side. It doesn't mean that you don't carry the truth and the truth is not on your side. You might still carry the truth and you will still be rejected. So what do you do next? Do you go and reject them and, apply evil for evil and force? No. You become more aggressive, become more determined, become more forceful. But forceful in truth, forceful in righteousness, forceful in love, forceful in kindness. Or if you think that you are not ready to love more or to reach out, be forceful in peace. What does it mean to be forceful in peace? You remember when they came to attack Jesus? They said Jesus just turned out and walked among them to the crowd. He just walked away. What is that? It's giving peace a chance. So there is a time when you know it is not time right now to express even love, because your love will not be accepted or your love will be rejected. So use forceful peace. What is forceful peace? Just give peace a chance by walking away. Jesus did that many times. It's not always the right time to stand up and confront the people who hate you or who don't want to accept your truth. Sometimes you need to give them that peace and that chance to give them their space, give them the time to be able to give them a breathing place, so that they could go and be able to, think it over. And when the right time comes, you have the opportunity. God will give you the second chance, the opportunity to be able to express yourself. So I want to give you some passages, examples of how even Jesus himself dealt with this. Jesus himself had to deal with his truth being rejected. And we are going to see how he dealt with that. So some people will reject the truth, not because you are not speaking the truth, just because they don't like you. They don't like the vessel. Jesus faced that so many times. In John chapter 6, verses 41 to 45, in John chapter 6, verses 41 to 45, it says, the Jews then complained about him, about Jesus, because he said, I am the bread which came down from heaven. That was the truth. Jesus was the bread which came down from heaven, but people were rejecting him. The very same people he was sent to were rejecting him because he spoke the truth. So, who says he wants to become a music director? You wanted. Can you come? Come here, come this side. So, what's your name again? Abiola, yes. So Abiola wants to become a musical director. And that's your own truth, although you are not yet sure yet if that's what God wants you to do for sure. But let's say that's your truth. But you already started having problem with that truth, because your mom wants you to become medical doctor. And the family wants you to become either medical doctor or engineer or lawyer. But you feel like becoming a musical director. That's a challenge right there. So what do you do when you know your truth and even the closest people to you are rejecting that truth? So I want to give you the answer. You don't worry about it. You don't feel under pressure or like talking now. So I'm just using you as an example. Don't worry. So if you have a truth like that, but how do you know it is truth? First of all, before you could call it truth, you have to establish it. You have to confirm it. Most, of course, often from God. God has to give you the affirmation and the confirmation that yes, that's what he wants you to do. So that is his will. Once it's his will, it becomes the truth. Or you have to, for you to find out the truth, you have to have statistics or facts or research that will confirm to you that yes. So you have to have other information like statistics to confirm to you, yes, this what you are saying is the truth. But anytime you have a truth, my dear, that truth will always be resisted. Don't always think that your truth must always be accepted because it is the truth. There will be some people who will accept it, but there will be other people who will reject it. So be prepared for that. Now, let's say you now become a music director. What is the secret of you becoming a premier music director? How can you become the leading music director in the UK? In the UK, for you to become a music director in the UK, most likely you are going to be marginalized. Most likely you are going to be put at the back seat because you have a lot of white people, and most of the positions of authority and leading, position in the society are being occupied by the white people in the country, the people of the land. So, and you know that you are good too, or maybe you are the best student in the university, and you want to break through. So how do you break through in a situation when the whole country is set up in a way that there is no chance for you as a black person? The way to do it is this. Go back to the aggressiveness, to the aggression that I spoke about. That time when they called me monkey, I applied the principle of aggressive love. When they were about to kill Jesus and it was not his time, he applied another principle, aggressive peace. Now, for you to break through and not just be on a marginal music director or music whatever producer in the UK, you must also fall back to the same principle of aggression. Where did I get this principle of aggression from? Because we are children of the kingdom. And the Bible says that since the days of John the Baptist, that the kingdom of God must be taken by force, by violence. And only people who apply force or who apply violence, who are aggressive, not aggressive in the negative, not aggressive in evil, not aggressive like the people of the world are aggressive in fighting, in violence, but those people who are aggressive in the kingdom principles, when we are talking about the kingdom. So it is, your aggression must be in line with the kingdom truth. So only for your kingdom truth to really find a place and to win in this world, and for you to really be the head in this kingdom, you must learn to apply the kingdom. For example, love. Going to there to say, hey, you want to, that is aggressive love. Love is a kingdom principle. But I have to apply that kingdom principle in the aggressive, violent way. I mean, aggressive way. And in a very, so what you do as a music director or music producer that wants to, that wants to make it in England, you have to use the principle of aggressive advancement or aggressive promotion. So instead of you to agree with them and say, oh yeah, I'm just a black girl in a white culture, I'm not going to really make it. Let me just go back to my own people. Thank God we have enough Nigerians here. But Nigerians, they are just 2 million people or 1 million people. And you can, if you are, no matter how big you are among 2 million people, you are too small. But if you are even averagely big among 50 million people, 70 million people in England, you are very big. But if you just result and just say, okay, they will not accept me anyway, then you have not applied the kingdom principle. So when your truth is rejected, that doesn't mean that is the end for your truth, because there is nothing you can do against the truth, and you have the truth. There is nothing that could be done against the truth, only for the truth. So even though your truth is being opposed right now, you know behind your mind that because nobody can do anything against the truth, but for the truth, you know that your truth cannot be silenced. You know that your truth cannot be killed. You know that your truth cannot be eliminated. You know you still have the truth on your side, and truth cannot be defeated, and truth cannot be, relegated. So because you believe in the power of your own truth, you know the only thing you need to do now is to use that principle of aggressive advancement. Because the truth will not be defeated anyway. The truth will not be killed or stopped. So it could only be stopped or limited if you are limited. But since you know it will not be stopped and limited, the truth itself is the truth, no matter what you do. Because there is nothing you can do against the truth, only for the truth. So because you know that, you have your confidence that I know who I am anyway, I know I'm called to do this thing, I know this is my position, so you just add aggression, number one, and then you add advancement. You begin to promote your gift, your calling, your profession aggressively. You begin to advance your talent, your truth in an aggressive manner. Now, so how do you do that? How do you promote? Because you could be doing, not just by doing advertisement, you promote your truth. Your truth must be promoted, first of all, by working on yourself. You must promote your truth by making sure that you become the best in that field altogether. So let's say we are talking about music production, or as a music producer. You work on yourself to live in the truth and make sure that you live in the truth of the fact that you are the best. Which means for yourself, speak the truth. We have spoken about the 5 levels of truth. And the first level of truth is that speak to yourself the truth about yourself. So make sure that you first of all speak the truth to yourself, that in the sense that you work on yourself to be the very best music producer, so much that your heart will witness to it and testify to the fact that you are the best. You are doing nobody is better than you. You will not play. You will not cut corners. You will not cut corners, and when nobody is seeing you, before God and before yourself, you must make sure that you abide by the truth that I am the best in this. I've done my very best, and I've done better than any other person on this. Either they are white, black, Asians, Indians. I know I have put in so much effort. I have done so well. I have put so much effort into this thing. I have studied the work of my opponents. I have studied the work of my competitors. I have seen how good they are. And I've made sure that I have bettered their very best 3, 4, 5 times. That is aggressive advancement. So I first of all make myself to be that good. They still don't know about it. They are still rejecting me, but they don't know the work I'm doing behind the scene upon myself. So by the time I appear, I'm so overwhelmingly above their expectations, and even the best of them, that my truth has been given the platform. And one way or the other, they like it or not, they will not but notice how good I am. They cannot but notice the excellent spirit I'm bringing to the table. But that's just one step of aggressive advancement. So whenever your truth is rejected, even if you're a pastor, that's the same principle to use. When I came to Ukraine here as a black man, I needed to speak Russian language. So I had the advantage of being a black person. That's bad enough for you not to ever have a voice in this culture. I'm not even talking England. I'm not even talking Britain or America here. I'm talking Russia here. I mean, there are no black people here. I needed to be the icebreaker. I needed to be the pioneer. I needed to pave the way for other black people that will come after me. But one thing that was my strength is that I believe in that truth. I believe in the truth of the fact that God has called me. God is on my side. And I believe in the truth of the Bible that says, you shall be the head and not the tail. And I know that nobody could be better than me. We had students from 99 countries in my university. And I came from a village called Idomila in Nigeria. So very small village and absolutely insignificant. Even in Nigeria itself, even my own state, even my own local government is so insignificant. Talk less of. So, but because of the truth that I believe in, and God taught me the idea of this idea I'm talking about, aggressive advancement. So I took my decision that after classes every day, I will always go to the library. So I will go to the library after classes and sit there for 6 hours, just by myself, working on myself to be better. Because at that point, all of them were better than me. First of all, I couldn't speak the language. But all of them were speaking their own language. It was their own language. And I needed to understand the textbook as well as they understand the textbook. I needed to understand the professor as long as I was not learning English. And I still needed to be better than them. So I needed the principle of aggressive advancement. Because it's the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God takes force. And only those people who apply force will have success in this kingdom. But instead of getting angry, that is negative. That is not the kingdom virtue. So I would rather use aggression for kingdom virtue. Hard work is a kingdom virtue. So I use aggression of the kingdom to make myself work hard. Diligence is a virtue of the kingdom. It's a kingdom virtue. So I use aggression. I was diligent with aggression. I put aggression into my diligence. I put aggression into my hard work. In fact, because I will leave home at 7:30 in the morning, go to classes and finish at 2:30. Then from the classes, I will have 30 minutes break to go and eat in the canteen, in the restaurant. Then I have between 15 minutes, I finish eating, and I have another 15 minutes to go to the library. When I go to the library, I'm already tired. I want to sleep. I doze off. I would not get out of there. When I'm dozing off, I will doze off here. I wake up in 10 minutes, and because it's not convenient, so I wake up. I keep on reading. Then I doze off again. I keep on reading. I want to go to the dressing room. I go to the dressing room. I come back. I will force myself not to even go and take fresh air. I will force myself not to follow my fellow students to go and do discotheque, boyfriend, girlfriend, no boyfriend, no girlfriend, no relationships, just aggressive advancement of my truth, that I will be the best and not the tail. So that's what, first of all, I did that for 6 years. Do you know that still I was not Pastor Sunday? I was just a good student, and I became the best student in the university, but I was still nobody. They got a job. All their people got jobs before me. But your time will come. But that is only one thing. So the fact that I did well and I even finished best of the whole university, I had the best record in the last 25 years in the history of the university. But of the history of the establishment of the university, up to today, nobody has broken that record. But that was not good enough for them to pick me ahead of their own people. So they didn't pick me to, just what we are going to face in England. Shota mu вас происходит? Пожалуйста. Вам надо все это заранее учитывать. So what happened is, my hard work and my aggressive advancement of my truth worked for me. I knew that I was much better than all of them. It was working for me. But sometimes at a point, your truth, even your aggressive advancement of that truth, is only known to you or only believed by you. Your truth will only be believed by you for a long time to come. Even your own close people might not even believe, and relatives might not even believe your truth. Your truth is only your truth. You are the only one fighting for your truth. You have worked hard. Maybe you have worked hard to become the best, but you have still not convinced the whole country that you are the best. They still don't believe you. They still don't buy into it that you are the best. So what do? Keep on the aggression, but not just in making yourself better. That's just the first stage. So the aggressive advancement, first of all, is to make yourself the best. Once you have done that, you must move on. The next stage of aggressive, when you are not being recognized, the next stage of aggressive advancement you need to do is to make sure that you begin to produce prototypes. I think you've stood enough now. Let me have you sit down. So aggressive self-education, aggressive self-improvement. That's one. Number two, anything you have known in your mind, all the improvement, all the quality work you have produced upon yourself, you need to be able to create a platform for demonstration. So that is what we call a market or a module or a prototype. So whatsoever is going on in your mind or in all your advancement, all your self-education, there must be a time when you now feel, I am ready right now to put that in a small package. The knowledge, I need to package it now. The wisdom, I need to package it now. Whatsoever I know, my skills, I need to now package that skill. That packaging of the skill is called prototype or module. So you have to produce a module. That module that you produce is a platform. It's a microphone, a speaker that will go further ahead of you. So you need to also do that with another level of aggression. So when I finished your university, I got the degree, but I didn't get the recognition. I knew that I needed to produce something that will speak for me. So I got a job at the television station, and I began to produce television programs because I was trained as a journalist. So I knew that they had different talk shows in the country that were the best. And I knew that by the time I do my own talk show, I can beat all of them. So as a black person, I begged the director. They said, oh, but all kind of excuses they had. Oh, you have an accent. Oh, you are a black person. Oh, our people are racist. Oh, they are not used to black people. Oh, we don't know how they will respond. I said, just give me a chance. One chance. I said, if that one chance flops, then I agree that I failed. Then don't give me a chance anymore on television to come on. And this was supposed to be a live broadcast. And live broadcast is more difficult than recorded programs because live you don't have the right for a mistake. So you know what I did? I went on aggressive. That's another thing. I decided to aggressively pursue God concerning my truth. So whenever you are being rejected, remember the God factor. That's another. After the module, always remember the God factor. Because that is where you have an edge as a believer. So you have done what you could do in the natural, but you also need to apply the supernatural grace or power that God has graced you with, which is the fact that you know God. A lot of people don't know God and they are doing well. But if you know God, you should do as much as they are doing and still use God's resource. That's the additional benefit or grace that you have. So before that broadcast, I went on a 7-day fast. So I was drinking only water. I fasted and prayed and asked God to show up. So I did not just depend on my knowledge this time and on the skeleton that I've made, the module that I've made. But I asked God for that His grace will come and that His favor will come upon this. Because I've done my best. I was already the best in every component, but that was a big stage and I needed not to mess it up, not to flop. So after that program, they gave me the opportunity to make, which was my prototype, which was my module, because it's a television program, but it was live. That the television station received the highest number of calls. Even the rate, they have the prime programs they have. This one beat the prime program. It was having more calls than all the prime programs they had. That was how I secured my position as a TV presenter. In a white racist country. So I'm just telling you how you could make a name for yourself when your truth is being rejected. Yes, there will be a time when you have to, be silent, but when you are silent or when you are at the back of the seat, you are actually working on yourself to make yourself better. You are not just silent in depression. You are not just silent in weeping and crying and pitying yourself, in self-pity. No, you are silent to work on yourself. They don't know what you are doing. You are actually pushing yourself and making yourself better. Now, let's see the way Jesus tackled this. So Jesus was also being rejected by his very same people, the Jewish people he was sent to. So here in John chapter 6, verse 1 to 45, the Jews were complaining against him. John 6, 41 to 45. They were complaining against him. Why? Because he said, I am the bread. He spoke the truth. I am the bread that came down from heaven. And they said, is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? You see, there might be different reasons why your truth is despised. You see, the truth of Jesus here is being despised and rejected. It's not because he was black, because he was among his people. He was just looking like them. So it's not, the race is not the only reason why your truth will be rejected. It's not because he was a man or he was a woman. You see, Jesus was not a woman, he was a man. So it was not the sex, the gender that, was the reason for his own rejection of his own truth. There will be millions of reasons why people will reject your truth, or because they don't like you as a source. And there will be different reasons or thousands of reasons why people don't like you as a source. Don't bother about what if they like you or why they don't like you or something like that. Just make sure you stick to the kingdom principle. The kingdom of God is advanced by violence. Violence, love, kindness, hard work, diligence, all those virtues of the kingdom. So they said, is this not the same Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? In this case, the reason for rejecting Jesus and his truth was because of familiarity. Familiarity, contempt. And because, no prophet comes from his own place. So how is it then that he says, I have come down from heaven? Jesus therefore answered and said to them, do not murmur among yourselves. No one can come to me. So Jesus didn't quit. He kept on talking his truth. He came on front on. Not by fighting, but by establishing even stronger level of truth. Aggressive truth. Aggressive advancement of your truth. That's what we just see Jesus doing here. He kept on aggressively advancing his truth. Don't murmur. He stood for his truth and he kept on advancing it aggressively. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him. And I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they shall all be taught of God. Therefore, everyone who has heard me and learned from my Father comes to me. So this is the example of aggressive advancement right here. Now, it is only after you have presented your module, you still need to do another thing. It doesn't matter how good you are if nobody knows about it. It doesn't matter how anointed you are if only 2 people know about it. Even if you are Jesus and you came to town and nobody knows, you are just going to be a local champion, a failure. That is why nothing replaces promotion, advertisement, and publicity. There are some Christians that say, why should you promote yourself? Why should you do publicity? If it is God, God will do publicity. I said Jesus did publicity. You know how Jesus did publicity? He sent forth people to go and announce his presence. That's the greatest. The word of mouth is the greatest and the most effective form of publicity. So don't believe people who say you shouldn't do publicity. In fact, the more publicity you are able to do, the more revival you are able to give. You will bring. It is not your anointing or your gift or your truth that is only responsible for revival, but how much you are able to advance and promote and publicize that truth. So remember that. No matter how good you are, you must be as good and as aggressive in publicity. Remember this. Your publicity, advertisement, promotion must be as aggressive as the truth you are carrying. The more truth you carry, the more you must find ways and opportunities and strategies to look for means to advance and promote what truth you carry. If the only reason why people are watching me today is because I'm on Facebook. If I'm just anointed, all this truth I'm teaching right now, I had known all this truth like for 10, 15 years ago, and nobody was hearing them because I was not on Facebook. Well, I was just sitting here by myself. So you need to aggressively advance your truth before your truth could be a blessing to the people who need them. There is another passage here that teaches us how Jesus dealt with rejection of his truth when people don't like him as a source of truth or as the carrier of truth. In Matthew 11, verse 7 to 19 actually. Matthew 11, 7 to 19. It says, and they departed. Jesus began to say to the multitudes concerning John, what did you go out into the wilderness to say? So John also faced this challenge. John was a truth carrier, and he was rejected because he was not dressing right and he was not looking right. His hair was too long, all kind of stuff. There was always reason for the source of truth not to be accepted. So John was not accepted as a carrier of truth. What did you go out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken by the wind? But what did you go out to see? A man clothed in soft garments? Indeed, those who wear soft garments or clothes are in kings' houses. But what did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I say to you, and more than a prophet. For this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before your face, who will prepare your way before you. Assuredly, I say to you, among those born of women, there has not been risen one greater than John the Baptist. But he who is least in the kingdom of God is greater than he. And from the days of the John the Baptist until now, that's what I was talking about. The kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. You see the principle. When you are being rejected, be more violent. Not violent in the sense of, doing bad things, but be more aggressive. That's a better word. When your truth is being rejected, be more find creative way to be more aggressive. Unfortunately, a lot of Christians think when they are being opposed that they are supposed to cave in and bow down. But no, it's the opposite of what Jesus said. That's when you need to be more violent. Because the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence. And the violent is the only people who will take it are the people who are violent. For all the prophets and the laws are unto John the Baptist. And if you are willing to receive it, he is Elijah who is to come. But, that's it. So, you see the truth here is, okay, is it? I read it 14. But to what shall I liken this generation? It is like the children sitting at the marketplaces and calling to their companions and saying, We play the flute for you. You see, this is another form of rejection. We are playing the flute for you, and you did not dance. You see, we have the truth, and we are rejected again, you see. And then we mourn to you, and you did not lament. That's rejection. So rejection is not a big deal. Rejection is normal. It is normal to be rejected. But what do you do after rejection? Your truth might be rejected, but all the people who are later on celebrated are the people who didn't give up after they were rejected, but who look for creative ways to be aggressive with their truth. That's another thing you want to know. You have to be creative in aggression. Look for creative ways to advance your truth. Creativity. Don't just be aggressive anyhow without wisdom. Add creativity to your aggression. For John came, neither eating nor drinking, but they said he has a demon. What is that? Rejection. You can close it with it. That is rejection right there. I mean, how could they? You brought the truth to your people, and they say you are a demon possessed. They were telling John the Baptist that he had a demon because he brought the truth. Then the Son of Man came, eating and drinking, and they said, look, he's a glutton and a wine bibber, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is justified by her children. So fruits will justify your wisdom. Fruits will justify your wisdom. And fruits is what we need to produce. Anytime we are being rejected, fruits should be our answer. We should be more aggressive to produce fruits. So we are not just being aggressive for nothing, but to produce fruits. And the fruits of our truth will silence the enemy. Hey, Shotodela, Nandadale. The truth of our aggression will silence the enemy. The truth of our aggression will produce the fruits, and those fruits will silence the enemy. I have so much more things to talk about. But I see that you people are kids. So unfortunately for you people who are watching me on TV today, let me just give you scriptures. You go and study those scriptures, okay? I don't want to keep the kids for too long, because when you keep the kids for too long, they lose interest. So I'm going to finish on time, but I'm going to give you passages. Go study John 8, verses 42 to 47. And then 1 John chapter 5, verses 9 to 10. Then study also Philippians 1, verses 15 to 18. And study also Luke chapter 11, verses 14 to 23. I will repeat all these things again, but starting from the last one. Luke 11, 14 to 23. Luke 11, 14 to 23. Philippians 1, 15 to 18. 1 John 5, 9 to 10. John chapter 8, 42 to 47. So people will reject the truth, but it's not a big deal. We know what to do with it now. So I'll be back tomorrow, but before I go, let's hear some of you. What did you learn? Would you like to share with me what you learned? Any one of you want to talk about it today? You want to talk what you learned? Come here and share with us. What did you learn from this class?
Just that, I guess the main thing is, like, no matter how hard you try, there'll always be someone who doesn't agree with you.
Yeah, who doesn't like you.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what they say, it's how you react to it that matters more importantly.
And what should that reaction be?
Just take it positively instead of reacting in a negative way, which would cause even more problems that you don't need. So using the opportunity as something you can grow off of instead of seeing it as something that's meant to like tear you down.
That is very theoretic, but that's not the way I said it. Yeah. So responding positively, wow, that's theoretic. But when I was telling you, it was not that theoretic, it was more practical. Okay, anybody wants to add? Anybody want to help her? Add to what did you learn? Yeah, please come.
I learned that people are always going to judge you based on how you look and how you present yourself. It doesn't really matter because obviously for us, or for me personally, it's going to be like the first thing they see is color or the fact that I'm a girl, and people aren't really going to take you seriously because of it. So, and you can't really do anything about that because that's just how people are going to see you.
So how should you respond?
You respond aggressively, but not necessarily violently. You respond with love and peace, and it's not. You don't always have to. You have to know when to react and when to just step back, and yeah.
Okay, everybody knows that we should love. But what is the difference in the love that I spoke about today?
Okay.
You go ahead.
So, the love. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, you said we should respond with love and peace. Everybody knows those two words. But what is the difference between those two words, the way I describe what you should do with it today, and just love and peace?
Okay, so the example that you gave was when those guys were calling you a monkey, and you went and said, "Oh, okay, come and hug a monkey. Like, yeah, now's your chance." And
a live monkey.
Yeah, and peace.
So what is that called?
Oh, that's I believe you said it was aggressive love.
Yes. Aggressive love.
Yeah.
That brilliant. That's exactly what we're talking about. So what's the difference between aggressive love and normal love?
Aggressive love, I guess it's actually going to them, and I feel like the way you said it was because you went up to them and you actually were like being really
well, most people would have loved them in their hearts. Or they would have loved them in prayers.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody wants to help her? Anybody wants to help her out? Anybody wants to answer the question? What did you learn today? Anybody wants to talk about that? Yeah, come on, stand up. Why are you passive? Yeah, if you want to talk, come out and talk, join us.
So, thank you for what you said, Abiola, because that just made because I just had a kind of new thought because of that discussion about aggressive love just now, that I thought that what you were trying to say was that aggressive love is different from normal love, that usually we only love those who have been nice to us first, but there's even more of a step to aggressive love. And it's not that when people are insulting you, you're just standing strong and being just like, well, I love them. I love them so much I can't see them. They don't exist. And it's actually going and showing them your love. Because sometimes you have to fight violence with aggressive peace. Sometimes you have to fight it with aggressive love. But when you're going to try and overcome evil with love, then it has to be more aggressive and more powerful and more active and radical and louder than that evil. And that is a real shock to me, because like you said, I think that we've gotten used to, well, maybe not just as Christians, but just over the whole world, to just, step back and duck and not try to be louder than someone, especially because you think you're trying to make peace, right? You don't want to do anything. You just want to run away. You just want to get out of the situation as fast as you can. But actually we're supposed to, if we're reacting when our truth is rejected, then we're standing up for it. And if we're standing up for it, then we have to quell that evil. We're not just supposed to leave that rejection alone. We're not just supposed to let people sit like in their ignorance. Like if they think that all black people are either violent when you insult them, or all black people are too shy to respond to you. No, if you're loving on them, then you're going to show them that, okay, think whatever you want about black people, but think about this black person, that whatever you do to her, she's going to respond more strongly in love. You can literally not insult her normally. You literally cannot beat her down, because she's just so full of love. And when you have a force like that, it really backs up your truth. It really makes you it gives you a more more powerful foundation, and a more powerful thing to jump off of, and that's very cool.
So the thing you just said is that your love must be louder than the hate of the enemy or the opposition.
Yes.
So your response of love, aggressive love, that love must be renowned. It must be loud,
resounding, and drowning it out.
Right, resounding, much more higher than the sound of rejection. That your truth must be propelled and be magnified. And be magnified, so that it will rather, your response will be higher and louder. In fact, today, that university where I studied, people know more who Sunday Adelaja is than the whole university where I studied today. But Sunday Adelaja is more renowned. So I've put so much aggression, advancement into my success that this very university where they said I would not do well, I would not finish, I am more known today than them. Although they have been existing for 50 years and been producing 16,000 students every year since I was there for 20-something years. But now I'm more renowned than the whole university. That means you make your truth, your aggression of love, to be so resounding and louder, much louder than the rejection and the sound of rejection, that the truth wins. So what are the other things you learned from the class today? Any other thing you would like to talk about?
The topic, what was the topic of this one for?
Is that your truth, because you came late, your truth could be rejected, not because you don't have the truth, but because people don't like the source of truth. So from tomorrow, you people agree with mom to change your schedule so that you people will try to be here on time. Okay, so you will talk with mommy so that she will release you people to be here, every day or something.
All right. Well, I was just thinking that getting the truth to the level that it should be, because we are the salt and light of the world, I guess, so we should be trying to make the truth known. I saw that is a very, very, very thorough process, and that there's a lot you have to go through to do that. And even without these, and this teaching made something clear, and that was that Jesus went through that whole process. And, well, I guess I should have known that already, but sometimes when you just get repeated, when stories, different parts of Jesus' lives, just get repeated over and over and over, you don't look at what might have been, what for example, the authors of the Old Testament might have meant by including those stories. You just think, okay, Jesus lived, he had no sin, he was a really good kid, you should be a good kid too, he died for our sins, yay. And you don't look at Jesus as human anymore, you just look at him as, sometimes you have to say his name, you know? But he was the perfect role model for us, and he's who we're supposed to be. I mean, he's like the walking manual for us. So since we all have our purpose, and we all have what God has called us to do, just like Jesus had his mission from God, we should be following in his steps. And what Jesus did was that, even from a young age, he was working on himself and educating himself. For example, when he was discussing with the teachers of the law in the temple. And later, what he did was that, like Daddy said, he promoted himself. Like he'd go talk to people and he'd go tell them about truths that he thought needed to be told, and he'd have it spread by word of mouth. And I'm just thinking that, wow, this is a lot. I mean, I never thought about any of these things so deeply. I mean, I know inside of myself I have certain convictions, I have certain truths, and I think there are certain values in the world that need to be spread. But I don't know how aggressive I am with that. Like, for example, maybe I have some places, I like writing, for example, so I write poetry, and I have some places where I put that poetry out. But I wouldn't, even though I think that I do promote the principles that I want to be promoted through that poetry, I don't try to aggressively advertise it because, again, I'm scared of my truth getting rejected. Well, on the internet, whoever found it, they found it, and then they can't really touch me besides that. But then if I tell somebody in real life, if I tell my classmates, well, what if they think it's weird? I mean, okay, they're Christians already, so I don't think I have to show them anything else. Yeah, you know, I think I should talk about something more popular, like, you know, Game of Thrones and not, you know, poetry. And you know, those thoughts keep coming, and then you're like, and you know, and I've thought about that a lot, because even some friends in the world, for example, because you're told, tell everybody about Jesus, tell everybody about the love of Christ, spread the word, but when it comes to actually being aggressive and doing something, usually, you know, push doesn't come to shove, usually you don't do something. But now I see that if why is my voice so weird? Okay, sorry. If I feel like I'm really called for something, and I have a purpose from God, and I have a message to spread, then I should actively be spreading that message no matter what. Because if I have the truth, then that is enough. That I have that truth, God knows about that truth, I'm going to keep developing that truth, and I have to keep going. And maybe people will will reject that truth, but that doesn't reduce the value of that truth at all. It's still the truth. So you shouldn't let anything taint it, because even if the truth does get tainted, it's all in your head anyway. I don't know if I explained it clearly, but the truth is the truth. For example, sometimes sometimes it happens like people find out you're a Christian, like in the community, so then you're walking around and you bump into someone, they're like, I don't believe in God. And they're like, and you're like, okay, you don't have to believe in God for him to exist. Like, for that, it's easy, because, like, they don't even say hello, they're like, I don't believe in God. But it's actually that way with any other truth. It's true that there is a God. It's true that if an apple falls, it will hit the ground, probably, unless there's lava or something, I don't know. Anyway, the laws of gravity are also true. And even if a whole political party forms and they say gravity does not exist, and they beat up people and they say gravity does not exist, does that change the fact that gravity exists? It doesn't. So no matter how many people reject you and say you're weird for having your truth, no matter how many people reject you and say that you should have different interests in something, no matter how many people reject you and say that you should know your place or that you aren't good enough for something, if you have a truth, if if you have something from God to spread, then you should keep spreading it. And even if you aren't good enough, well, I think that's fine, because I think that most of the people that gave us the New Testament and that Jesus picked up, they weren't good enough either. I don't think Paul was good enough at all, because he was going around and murdering Christians, and he thought he was right to do that, and that was horrible. He was just a murderer, and he was discriminatory, but still God changed him and used him, and he's like the best saint. He's everybody's favorite, of course, because he gave us like 2/3 of the New Testament. And everybody in the Bible, except for Jesus and God, all of them had faults. All of them did horrible things. Like, no matter who your favorite Bible character is, I guarantee, except if it's Jesus, I guarantee you can find that one moment in their lives when they did something so horrible and so unacceptable, and when even somebody might have told them that they weren't good enough, but still they kept working on themselves, like aggressively, like Pastor Sunday said to, and they got the results, and the truth came up, and they're celebrated today because the truth does not lose its power, no matter what anybody says.
Thank you. You want to say?
Okay, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk for too long. Down a little. Yeah. I'm not going to talk for too long, but one thing that stood out to me here was depiction. So depiction is what other people think about you, but what Pastor was saying was it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about you, because if it's the truth, then it's the truth, and God knows who you are, and you know who you are through God. Correct?
Yep.
Also, presenting aggression aggressively and love. Another thing that stood out to me was producing a module platform. So once you have that, whatever you have, for example, I have a brand, produce the module platform to give it to people, which kind of segues into me never introducing my website or anything. So if you guys have an opportunity, go to onevoiceapply.com.
Say that again?
Yeah, onevoiceapply.com. It's I'm going to spell it out for you. It's ONE, voice, VOICE, and then applied, APPLIED. So basically, using that, every voice should be heard, and it's important for your voice to be heard. For example, Gandhi or Martin Luther King to Obama. And One Voice Applied actually is a brand. It's actually an entertainment organization for students to apply their analytic skills to learn more about record labels and film and fashion and the music industry. So basically promoting that your voice, just like Pastor said, should be definitely heard. Promotion is key. Also, aggressive promotion. Aggressive promotion is key.
Kingdom of God is advanced by violence.
Thank you. Diligence, aggressiveness, and self-improvement is what also stood out to me as far as what he was talking about. Creative aggression is something like what I was kind of doing right now. I don't feel like I had a whole time to speak after I'll use myself as an example. Creative aggression would be something like if I wasn't done speaking or didn't have a chance to promote my brand, or I got clapped off stage or something. I'll use myself as an example. Creative aggression will be coming back up in here, right, and being like, yo, my Instagram is Yo That's Amazing. If you ever have a chance to go check my Instagram, it's YOTHAUMEH, my last name ZING. So onevoiceapply.com, One Voice Applied on the Instagram, One Voice Applied on the Twitter. Someone needs to be writing that on Facebook right now. Okay, that's important for sure. Hashtag find your culture. So like I said, everyone needs to find themselves, find your culture.
Aggressive application.
It's important. Thank you, Pastor. And yo, your voice is important. Merely. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Maiwa, do you need to say anything? Okay. So, where is that Babusha? She's not here. All right, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't think we are not broadcasting the HMT, right? Are we broadcasting the HMT?
Yes.
Every day?
Yes, sir.
We'll be in the morning too?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially your sessions.
Okay. So we'll be broadcasting. I was just told we'll be broadcasting the HMT every day. So I don't know when I'm speaking yet. I guess it's 12. So
yeah, we're still working on that.
Okay. So but we'll be coming back to you every day with the youth and with the HMT here. So if you are there at home, you'll be able to join us by Facebook as well. So thank God for that. And then in the evening, of course, we'll be back. But this week it will be not just in the evening, every day, the whole day. We'll be having live broadcast the whole day then. So thank you, kids. I love you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, he's learning very fast. He's applied his lesson immediately. It's Kenny.
Guys, please, we're still having a class.
Live out.
Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? Good. You are from Ukraine? Okay. Do I know you? Am I supposed to know you? Yes? Are you from the church? From the church, okay. From, what was the name of your church? Not Embassy of God, right? Embassy of God? Pastor Swabuje ili kakoe ta serko drugoj. Kakoe?
Another church called Spasenia.
What's Spasenia? Spasenia, yes, I know Spasenia. In Kyiv or Veshnova, yeah. Okay.
And asked us to be here.
Who?
Biletskaya.
Biletskaya to Nelia Biletskaya from our church. Yeah, Nelia. Yes. Good. She, you are going to be thankful for her. Okay, are we on? Yes. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello. Good evening. How are you all doing today? Good? Yeah. Okay. Where is your sister? She's there? Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Это вам устраивает так, чтобы так сидели, да? Это вы так перестроили? Сидение нормально для вас? Вот так? Хорошо. Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome, everybody. How are you all doing? You fine? You are the youngest. How old are you? 7. Are you sure you're going to cope? You know what it means to cope? You are going to be able to cope? Wow. You are the strongest 7-year-old that I know. You're going to be a giant. A giant 7-year-old. I thought you were the youngest. You are not. Wow. Okay. Well, to all the people watching us on Facebook, I just want to tell you that we are continuing our session. Why do people deny the truth? Why do people reject the truth? Sorry. Why do people reject truth? Why do people reject truth? And yesterday we spoke about the fact that people reject the truth because they don't like the source of truth. But today we have another reason, another explanation why people reject truth. People reject the truth because they are more comfortable with an alternative explanation. People sometimes prefer to give an alternative explanation to whatsoever truth that you present them with. So, Paul, can you come here? Let me use you as an example here. So let's say, Paul, you come here, and maybe because you are young, or maybe because it's not because of you, maybe because of my pride. Let's say you try to tell me any form of truth, anything. And even though what you are telling me is the truth, but because everybody has an ego, let's face it. Everybody has an ego, and people have ego. So because of my ego, I say, well, yeah, I have my own understanding about what you are saying. I don't really think it's like that. I think it's like this. Well, whatever you are saying, well, okay, that is just your own opinion. Have you ever heard of people talking about gay marriage and gay situation? I heard Pastor Chris was talking about, all kind of perversion that's going on in the schools and all over the world. It started by people not wanting to take the truth. So when you tell people that being a gay is wrong, because men and women are created differently, and men are supposed to marry women, and women are supposed to marry men, they come and tell you, well, you know what? I think I was born like that. They come up with their own explanation. So you say it's not right, but they say, well, what about if I tell you that I was born like that? That's the way I was born. That's my own preference. Or right now, there are some people that are lobbying for what we call, they are lobbying for pedophile to become legalized and to make it legal for 40-year-old man or 30-year-old man to be having sexual relationship with 10-year-old, 7-year-old, 9-year-old girl or boy. And the argument is, well, you say it's bad, but that is just my own sexual orientation. So what I'm saying is that truth provokes people to want to explain it away. There are a lot of things that people don't want to face. Because they don't want to face it, they will rather explain it away. Now, for you as a young girl, and for you as a young girl, for you as a young man, and for all of you who are young people right now, you must know that as you are growing up to face life and to face the world, one constant reality that you will all have to confront is the fact that people are not comfortable with the truth. But that is not your fault that they are not comfortable with the truth. And that is not your problem that they are uncomfortable with the truth. The fact that they are uncomfortable with the truth shouldn't bother you at all. What I'm trying to say is that as young people, one thing that you should always remember that should be in your head forever is truth is paramount and truth is supreme. We know that the word of God is the truth. And since there is the truth of God and of God's word, it's not debatable. And the truth cannot be relative. The truth is absolute. The truth is universal. The truth is, is non-controversial. Non-controversial. So, stand for truth. Your position must be that I don't care what you say, and I don't care what you say, I stand for truth no matter what. It doesn't matter if the truth it doesn't matter who the truth is uncomfortable for, or if the truth makes you uncomfortable. The truth could make me uncomfortable too. So even though the truth is uncomfortable to me as well, but I still have to abide by that truth. Even though I'm uncomfortable with it. Everybody has to bow before the truth, including me, who is speaking the truth. So if I do something against the truth, I am liable to answer before the truth. Or I'm to take and be ready for the consequences of that truth. So the truth is supreme to me. The truth is supreme to everybody else. All of us must bow down at the feet of the truth. So now, what you want to learn is that anytime you come across the truth, you don't want to be in the camp of those people that try to give what we call alternative explanations. Remember that word, explanations. It's explaining away the truth. Just giving out different excuses why the truth is not legitimate or liable, they are not liable to the truth, or why the truth does not binding to them. So you remember this forever, that for you, the truth must be the ultimate standard. For you, the truth must be it doesn't matter, your father's word might not be the ultimate standard, but the truth must be. You might not listen to me, but you must listen to the truth. You might disregard my advice or my instructions, but the truth, the instruction of the truth is supreme. So every one of us, we must submit to the truth. And when you grow up through life, this is going to be one compass that is going to help you navigate through life and sail through life successfully. That is the only supreme authority of my conscience. Nobody has to know about it. So the public opinion should not be the supreme decider of your decisions. Public opinion doesn't matter what public thinks. If the whole world is thinking that what you are doing is wrong, it doesn't matter as long as it's the truth. The truth is the ultimate commander for you. So it doesn't matter what the whole class is thinking. All your class might think the opposite of what you are doing. Your whole class might say you are wrong. Your whole class might think it's wrong to go to church or to believe in God. Your teachers might think so. Your professors might think so. But you know the word of God and the truth of God's standard. You know if it is the truth according to God's standard. If I've been able to look through it, research it, and found out that it's the truth, God said it, it doesn't matter what the name of the professor is. It's because what they do to you in the university is that they will try to use the authority of professors, or authority of geniuses, or authority of great men. They will be giving you great names, Einstein, Darwin, these and these, all kind of counts, all kind of people. They will be naming different philosophers and scientists to try to convince you that your position of truth is wrong. But they are only men, and they are no more. But God is ever abiding. So if your position is in line with God, they lived, but they are gone. They are no more here. But God is still ever present. I can never be wrong. Once you are on the side of truth, you can never be wrong. Once you are on the side of truth, you are on the side of God. Once you are on the side of God, you can never fail. And they might disgrace you, they might condemn you, they might try to humiliate you. But the most important thing is that nobody can disgrace you or humiliate you without your permission. The only reason why you people get intimidated and why people get annoyed or ashamed or embarrassed is because they are not sure of their position with the truth. Once you are relaxed in your truth and in the truth of God, once you know you are on God's side, let them do their worst. You can smile and laugh while you are confronting the whole world. You will be one against the whole world and you will still be smiling. They will be shaming you and bringing forth reasons to make you be ashamed and disgraced and, humiliated, and you ha 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 ha, because you are standing on a solid ground, the solid rock of the truth. Nothing is more powerful than the truth. Nothing is more authoritative than the truth. The truth should be your fortress at all time. When you put the truth forward, it's like you are hiding behind a fortress. When you put the truth forward, it's like the host of army is in front of you. They don't see it, but you see it because you see the truth. But every single time you stand for truth, one continuous constant that you are going to be seeing is the fact that somebody is trying to explain away that truth. I tell you that. Somebody is trying to explain away the truth you are saying. Somebody is trying to say, well, it's God who said that God is old-fashioned. Well, that's Bible. When was it written? 2,000 years ago? Well, it's not scientifically proven, But science, you want to take God to the laboratory? You want to use science to discover God in the lab? Laboratory is only meant for material stuff, for created stuff. But we are talking here about the Almighty God. That the size of God itself, there is no lab that can fit it inside. So what I'm saying right now is that people will always try to explain away the truth. But don't you ever be ashamed of your faith. Don't you ever be ashamed of your position of truth. Don't you ever be ashamed of standing for what you believe in. Don't you ever even believe that you could be intimidated. Don't you ever believe that you could be shamed. Even if everybody is laughing and jesting at you and pointing fingers at you, make sure you remember the truth at that point. Put yourself in that truth. It will protect you. While they are pointing at you, calling you names, you'll be thinking about truth. You'll be thinking about the truth upon which you stand. You'll be thinking about the truth of the Word of God. That will be comforting you. They are seeing shame. They are seeing humiliation. They are seeing all kind of, embarrassment. But you are seeing the truth. You are not seeing what is happening in the physical realm. You are seeing the truth upon which you stand and upon which you... So I'm still going to ask you questions. And the questions I'm going to ask you is going to be like this. What are the examples of or instances or examples whereby people explain away truth? Give alternative explanations. I will start with myself. Let's start with Jesus. But I will still go back to the scriptures and show you some more examples. But when Jesus Christ came to a city that is called Galilee, Capernaum of Galilee, he went there and began to demonstrate the power of God and healed the sick and casted out a few demons from people. So, things were happening that would not normally happen with the other preachers and Pharisees and Sadducees. You know what they said? They just explained it away. No. It's because he's casting out demons by the spirit of Beelzebub, the prince of spirit. He's just demon-possessed. That's all. People who are demon-possessed can do those things. He's just demon-possessed. That's it. They explain it away. Now, when Jesus, also other instances, when Jesus came and said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. They said, no. Who are you? How old are you? To say you are the way, the truth. We are children of Abraham. We know God. We obey the law of Moses. So they come up with alternative explanations. He said, I was there before your father Abraham was there. I said, how old are you? So people try to explain away the truth. Even Peter, when angel appeared to him, God was giving him a vision and trying to tell him to go and minister to Cornelius, who was a Gentile. What was it? Yeah? Huh? Yeah, he was supposed to go and minister to this army general or colonel. And and he said, no, I don't eat something that is unclean. I don't eat something that is unclean. So that's another explanation right there. I don't eat something that is unclean. But the truth is, because he said, these are not Gentiles, these are Gentiles, these are not Jews. You know, so that's an excuse, an explanation why I cannot do what is the truth, what is right. But the truth is that the gospel belongs to everybody. So when we come up in your lives, all you kids, there are some truths that your parents have taught you from home, especially for girls. I remember when I was a young man in growing up in Africa. You know, even as a boy, my friends were telling me, "You don't have a boyfriend? You are not sophisticated." So I didn't know that what my parents taught me, what my family taught me, not to have boyfriends or girlfriends, just study and face your business, it was the right thing. But when I met friends started telling me, you are not sophisticated. So they explained off that truth and just swept me off my feet very fast. Because I was not established. I was thinking, oh, all of them are so sophisticated. And here I was in the village of 40 houses, and they are coming from the city, you know. And the city guys always seem to know better, you see. Because they were wearing better clothes and looking more fashionable, and their language was even a little bit more refined than mine, you see. And so for some reason, they were always bold. They were the bold ones. So they came up with explanation and just explained off my standard and of my truth. Now, that's why I'm telling you, any truth you stand for, if you say, no, we don't have boys, we don't date. Like in our church, we say we don't date. Our family, we don't date. But when you go to school or street or anywhere, college, you don't date. They will explain it away for one reason or the other. They will say maybe you are old-fashioned. Or they will say something. They will come up with anything. So there's truth like that you have been established in, maybe from your home, from the family. And there are truth that the Word of God has, helped you know through the Word of God that you've been taught in the church and there will be someone or the other, always, who will always come to explain away that truth that you stand for. That is just the way the life is, just for you to know. Just get ready for that. Any truth that you have is going to be explained away by somebody. And people will try to present you with an alternative truth. Alternative to the truth. Now, you are raising your hand. What were you planning to say before I ask my question?
I just wanted to say that it's very revolutionary what you said about how it doesn't even matter if it's not scientifically proven, the truth that we stand for, because our truth comes directly from God, and God isn't something that you can put in the laboratory. I mean, that makes so much sense. I mean, what's the definition of science? It's literally man's observations of the world. No, it's not even like the complete facts of the world. That it's just what man sees as the world. Man. Only man. And you think that's a viable enough explanation to just dismiss the truth. It's not. Again, the truth is absolute. And the truth comes from God. And nothing can dismiss it. And so, sometimes it's flustered by opposition. Because you think, well, if this is the truth, why are people coming up with explanations to it? And, well, maybe they're right. I mean, they said this, they said that, and they said this. But really, the truth is always the truth. And whatever they said, if it's not coming from God, then there's no reason to even worry yourself about it.
So I want to thank you for that revelation a lot, especially because I know I had those type of problems that I'd heard something was wrong, and it was from the Word of God. just people came and they were explaining it away, and they say, well, look at how these people do it. Well, you know, in nature, sometimes animals do that. And then like, well,
I need to repeat what you had said earlier on because they didn't hear because of the poor microphone in the beginning.
Okay.
From the very beginning.
So I think it's really great what you said about how you can't put God in a laboratory, and that people can say, for example, this truth isn't true because scientifically it doesn't work that way. But that doesn't matter because God is God. Our truth, the truth that we stand for, it comes from God. And what even is the definition of science? The literal definition is man's observations of the world. It's not like even any concrete facts. It's just what only man, with their limited vision, with their tiny, tiny, tiny little spots in the whole universe that God created, and it's only what they see. And we don't even know that much about the earth that we're inhabiting. We can't even like dig deeper than 12 kilometers into it. So seriously, every other truth, except for the one that comes from God, it's actually worth nothing. Even though it might be disguised as something or might look big, someday the people who are presenting that and lobbying it, they'll go away, they'll die, but God will always be there. And the truth will remain the truth. So I want to thank you for that revelation.
Yeah, I want you to, now the question that I have is for you, and not just for you, for everyone else, is what are examples that you could all come up with or you could think about of truth being explained away, or people giving alternative truth? Can anybody think of anything like that you'd like to comment on, that when people are explaining away truth and or just giving alternative truth about anything in life? Anybody would like to say anything about that? Any example? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think that you gave a good example with gay marriage. People find all types of explanations for that. Like, for example, people can say, well, gay marriage obviously isn't natural because if 2 men and 2 women can't make a child, why would they procreate? And then some people will say, well, actually, there have been cases of 2 animals of the same gender procreating. So it actually is a natural process. And people will come up with explanations like that.
Okay. Any other explanation that alternative? Yeah? Okay. Stand up. What's your name again?
Joy.
Zoe.
Joy.
Joy. Okay.
So the alternative explanations that Pastor Sunday was talking about, I think it was the devil using people to mess up and play with your mind. And so that because we have the knowledge of the truth, and that we need to stand under that truth. So whatever the devil throws at you, because you have the truth and you have your faith, you have the shield of faith, so you can block it, and you need to stay on the truth, so the enemy won't deceive you.
You are very bold. Good for you. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Anybody has vote? Yes, please. Give the microphone. That's a parent.
Yeah. There's a program on a television show. There's a guy that came that the people were asking him, is about a gay?
No, yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, like this.
All right. About gay marriage.
Yes, yes.
Okay. It's about the gay marriage thing. This guy came on and said, they asked him this, why are you gay? Why do you, like to be a gay? He said, no, from birth, that he knows that he was a queen. He called himself a queen. They said, how do you know that you're a queen? He said, because he was different to other men. He's a man. He said he was different. So they were saying, how can you say you're different? You're a man, you have all what man has. He said, no, he's been a queen. He calls himself a queen. So he's just explaining it away, that he has never been a man, that he has been a queen from birth. That's it. That's
okay, Zoe. You need to come out, Zoe.
I think
it's only louder, please.
The most well-known alternative explanation is evolution and creationism. Do I have to say more?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So like we know that God exists, and we only exist because He exists, and
where's your energy?
Because in the Bible it explains every day how He created every day, 7 days of the week, why Saturday is the day of rest, and everything. While to people who don't believe in Christianity, don't believe in God, they have to find ways to explain how this world came to be. And people who really like science, they like to study, and they like to come up with their own explanations. But they weren't there and they don't actually know.
I think it's too low this time.
But they weren't there and they don't actually know. So all they can do is like draw conclusions and make assumptions. But we know it's true because it's in the Bible, and it's the Bible written by God, and the God who created us.
Okay. And Pastor wanted to speak. Eh?
I think
go give the microphone.
Thank you for that.
Go give the microphone.
Thank you for that, Zoe. I just want to, I think she took the words out of my mouth. Because one of the things that people are confronted with, young and old, is this idea that we all got here by evolution, and it's factual science. It is not. It's just a theory. But they use the weight of experts and so-called professors to kind of bamboozle people's minds and so on and so forth. And the alternative explanation to creation is evolution. The thing with that is that they're uncomfortable with the truth of creation. Because if creation is held up as the truth, then it means that there is a God. If there is a God, then people would have to be held to account for their behaviors, what they do here on earth. And that's such an uncomfortable prospect for some people. So let's come up with this other explanation that dispenses with God, and then our consciences will be free. And I think that's where the main driver of this is. The other thing to say about this is that evolution is not a science. Never mind what people say. Science is, I think it was Pearl that says, science is based on observable evidences. Okay? Nobody has ever seen evolution.
Nobody was there.
Nobody was there. Nobody has ever observed it. They talk about Charles Darwin, and he went to the Galapagos Island. He didn't see evolution at work. What he saw there, was just mere adaptation of the beaks of the finches being adapted to the kind of diet that they were eating. And even if you say that there was what proof have you got for creation? But moving on from that, evolution actually has not added any benefit to humanity. None whatsoever. None. When you think of chemistry, for example, evolution as an area of study, okay? When you think of chemistry, you think of what has chemistry contributed to make life better for human beings?
Oh, huge.
You think of a lot of things.
Huge.
Think of pharmacy, the drugs, and so on and so forth. Think of engineering, the cars, the bridges we drive on, and roads and things like that. Well, what has evolutionary science got to say for itself? Okay? I cannot find one single benefit of evolution to us as human beings. Okay, so this is just an alternative explanation that people come up with to make their consciences feel better. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now, anybody else want to say anything? Okay. Yeah, okay. Is that your blazer?
Yes, this is the blazers right here.
Tell us a little bit about your truth.
How you doing? It's Mr. Igbo American.
You want to come here? You want to come here?
Sure. Can you come with me? Excuse me. Sure. How you guys doing? I have not really much to say, but yeah, these are the Blazers. One Voice Applied. OneVoiceApplied.com. OneVoiceApplied. Is it your creation?
This
is actually my creation. We created them in Nigeria out of Ankara material. So, say it again. Say it again. Okay. No, it's actually a clothing. It's actually a clothing cloth. So we got just a different, you know, thing on it. We got the zipper right here. Just a difference, just to be a model. We got the logo right here, but we have just a different, kind of a unique collection of culture fashion that I'm trying to create. Basically,
what was the message?
Fashion from the message for One Voice Applied is finding your culture. So where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? That everyone's voice needs to be heard, and culture is big. So we're trying to mix culture as far as American culture and Nigerian culture, whether it be European culture and American culture, whether it be Chinese culture and American culture. So we're just going from each culture to each culture to do different collections to mix people's personalities together and express it through fashion. So.
Okay, and so now going back to our question of today, which is, what are the truths that people explain away? What are the instances of alternative explanations that people give? In what are the examples that you could give?
I would say one example, a big example for me would probably be the media. Yeah, so
that's horrible.
Television.
Yeah.
Exactly, like basically America, the world depicts what you should be on television. So beauty comes from everything that we're watching. Television, which equals what tells lies visually. So basically a lie through the media, through the news, through social media, everything's a lie that we should be this person. Everyone is looking into someone else's life to try to bounce that and have that be their life, when we should actually be looking at God to mesh our lives off of. So I feel like a big component for the truth would be media. Everyone has to watch media. It's like in our face propaganda on purpose. So I feel like that would be one big truth that is not a truth.
Yeah, and now they are calling it lies, something, what they call it, fake news or something.
Fake news. Yeah.
Yeah, media, and a lot of people live off the media.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Instead of living off the Word of God.
Exactly.
So media now is what mostly, in most countries, is responsible for the formation of culture and for the formation of worldviews. So a lot of the paradigms that we have in countries and nations today are no more coming from families, and they are no more coming from our pulpits. So a lot of our paradigm and worldviews are now being generated from the media. So who is behind the media? Some invisible elements that we don't even know who is selling those things to the media, or who is brewing those fake pseudo values that people are believing in. And that's why people are unruly, and people kind of adopt or adapt to anything that the television box is broadcasting to them. Mm-hmm. And that's why we must be above the media. We know that the truth that we are aligning our lives with is superior to media. It's coming from God himself. So that's why, the ultimate assignment for us is to make sure that we find out the truth, especially God's truth, and then we abide by that truth. Good.
Amen.
Thank you. Yeah. Give the microphone here. Here. Yeah. No, you. Yeah. Because you need to look at the camera.
Okay. Okay, so I just thought of this now. I just remember this from somewhere that teenagers a lie that's constantly told is that us as teenagers we are mindless and we
mindless.
We're not really mindless. I mean, like
not matured enough, or
yeah, like we can't take control of our lives. We're too immature. We're not at that. And they never actually teach us the tools to become mature. They only say that we're not mature. So that's a lie.
That's a lie, because the truth is what then? The truth is what? What is the truth in this case?
The truth is that if we were given the materials to actually know how to do it, like for instance, if they gave us classes on how to do our taxes or how to save money and that, we would be able to use it and we would be able to apply it. But because I feel like they've past adults have made their mistakes and they don't want us to be like, I mean.
So you just need the information, the correct information, to be able to take the right decision.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to talk? Okay. Anybody want to talk? You want to talk, please? Thank you.
I'm just bouncing off of what Abiola and Kenny said, that in the world today, they're trying to sell the alternative explanation of like, it's kind of like doublethink. It's kind of like when you try and put it in words, it's nonsense, but actually so many people think it. It's like, do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want because you're not going to come to anything anyway. And even evolution ties that in, and then the media selling all those things you can't achieve but are going to waste your time trying to achieve. All of that is tying it in. So like what the truth is, we're fearfully and wonderfully made, and God has called us to be great, and if we fulfill all of his commandments, then we'll be the head and not the tail. And that's the truth. And that's what our lives are supposed to be. But what the world is selling is that you don't have to do anything. You just have to chase whatever you feel or something like that. And also that you don't have to be great. Yeah, nobody wants to be great. You can like dream of having some things, but don't do anything. Just live an average life and then just die. And then like that's the mentality of the world today. Like they're like kind of pretending that like they're trying to give freedom or something, but actually the reality is they want everybody to act like animals. That they'll put like some idols everywhere for them to worship and for them to like waste their time trying to become like. But actually, through those very idols, they'll tell you, see, you'll never be perfect. See, look at this perfect girl you see on TV. She has no blemishes. She's so skinny. Everybody loves her so much. And you'll try so hard and you'll never become like her. You'll waste so much time trying and you'll never become like her. And so just why don't you just like stay obedient to the status quo and just live a life of nothing, because you won't become anything. Just be our like mind slave. And I think that's the system that I see rising in the world today, but they're kind of denying it. They're saying, no, we just don't want to be old-fashioned. We just want everybody to have their own freedom. We'll show everybody all this junk, but they can do whatever they want. So like what Abiola says, we won't give them the materials to develop themselves. We won't tell them they can be great. We'll just try to make animals that we can farm for ourselves, and then they can do whatever they can. Like, okay, maybe you've read the book 1984. Even if you haven't, I won't spoil anything, but there's this line that all the dictators use. Just as animals are free, the proles are free. Proles are just people that the party does controlled. Proles, they don't have a life. They just have babies, and that's their only role. They're only there for the population to work and produce things, and that's it. And so, yeah, nobody's getting in their way. they're being born, they're growing up, they're getting married, they're having their entertainment, but they come to nothing, and that's what they're meant to do. Nobody is restricting them, nobody's putting any limits on them, but in the end they're just like being treated just like animals. And that's the same thing in the world today. They say, do whatever you want, there's no God, there's nothing to strive for, we all just came from a big explosion, it's all just a chant, you just do whatever you want. But by that, do whatever you want, by having no plan in life, that's how mistakes are made and people's lives come to nothing. And the world is using that everybody's acting like animals and only living by instincts and believing that they have nothing to do but follow what they feel, to get a mass of people that will consume whatever they're given and to just keep that going. And that's it.
Thank you. All right, now let's make it more practical. I'm going to try to make it a little bit more practical. I'm going to use my examples. So Paula just paved the way for me, talking about the world system. The world system is rearing through media what I call the biomasses. Biomasses is a bunch of people all over the world that don't have goals and don't have to strive for anything exceptional. And Julie is here. She lived all her life in Western Europe. So there is nowhere where that has been established and and prospered as much as Western Europe. So you just need to, just it's like you are on an elevator or on a carousel, or what they call carousel, conveyor. Yeah, on the conveyor, what they call it? Conveyor belt. On a conveyor belt that's just taking you are born, the conveyor belt is there. You are going to school, that's a conveyor belt. You finish from school, you go to work or you go to college, that's a conveyor belt. You don't need to strive. You don't need to aim high. You don't need to be passionate about anything too much. Just, things will work out. You get a job, you marry, that is the kind of people that the world is trying to breed now, the media and the world system. That's exactly very right what Paul was talking about. That's just the old picture, but it's been there in the West, but it's going everywhere now. So the idea is that, especially for you black kids in Europe, okay, yeah, don't worry. You go, we like to play football, or can you run? We like to run. Okay, don't worry. You go out of school. You go and you go down. You don't need to. They don't want you to strive. They don't want you to dream. They don't want you to aim high, to dream big, to have any striking vision or something. You go and play basketball. Maybe you go and just be in the service. Just go and serve the system. You go and work in the McDonald's and maybe then you get a job. That is the whole thing the world is trying to breed right now. But that is not the truth. And that's what I'm about to address. That is not the truth, and that must not be your reality. That must not be your dream. It must not be your dream, and it must not be your reality. So now, talking about myself, and this is one of the very great advantages of coming from Africa, especially coming from Nigeria. The Nigeria I used to know, where I grew up in, was a competitive nation, and that the Nigeria that I grew up in is a Nigeria that pushes you, everything there pushes you to strive and aim high, to be ambitious, and to dream to be the best. That is how I was able to have a dream of coming out from a village of 40 houses to be the best in my field in the world, to rule my world, to lead my world. So all of you that are here, all you kids, listen closely. You should never believe that you are meant to be to just service the system, just to go and get a job, or just go and get a good job, or be well paid. That shouldn't be your dream. Your dream as kids will be to rule your world. You want to be in charge of the world for God. You want to rule your world for God. Don't you ever even believe that you could be the second best, or that you will not be the very best anywhere and everywhere. So you should have it in your mind that you are here to manage the earth for God, because the earth is coming from God. God created the earth, and he put you here to be the manager of the earth. This is coming from Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. God created the earth and said you should be in charge of it. So you are, every one of you have your own passion, your own area of interest, and God is going to help you to develop yourself in that particular area of interest. You are supposed to be in charge of that particular sphere of life and manage it for God, and be in charge of it and rule the earth for God. So nothing less. So when the school system just tells you, okay, pick a profession here. Maybe you are going to be a steward in the market, or in the shop, or in the restaurant, or you are going to sell. All those things. No, that's not your place. Because in England, I was talking with somebody in England who has kids, because she's living in an area, and they are telling her, your son is finishing college, he must go. He was finishing primary school. I think they have primary, secondary there. So you finish in primary school, then the only alternative those kids have is to go to the secondary school in the neighborhood, in that area. And that is the depressed area. That is the least area. That is the area. So these kids, these parents said, I want my kids to go to a premium primary school, secondary school, a grammar school. Say, what? No, don't even, nobody even from these schools, from all the schools, we have 10 schools in this borough, or 100 schools, or whatever. Nobody even talks about that kind of college. How come? How did that even come even to your mind? How did that even come to your mind? To go to college in that place? No. That's only for people from these schools. So there are some schools that can get to that particular college. But from schools in this area, or schools of your level, they only go to these colleges. To these high schools. I hope that is not in America. I hope it's not the same. It's the same? Yeah. Oh! So you are forever condemned. That you can only go to these schools, this level of schools. The top 10, the top secondary schools or high schools, no, it's not for you. You just be happy that they will admit you here. You don't stand a chance over there. Can you believe it? I don't know what they call it. Maybe they have a system for it. Huh? Catchment. Catchment area, where you live. Hey, Shineke. So because you live there now, you are now condemned. I said even in Nigeria, thank God, as bad as Nigeria is, it doesn't get. I can be in my village and said I want to go to Ife, or I want to go to Unilag, or I want anywhere, or I want to go to any secondary school. As bad as Nigeria is, and people are talking about marginalization in Nigeria, I said marginalization, real one, is in the West. You want to talk about marginalization? There is no marginalization here in Nigeria. Everything is free here. But there, they say you must have. Okay, you must have, those historic secondary schools or grammar schools. You must have history, or you must be prepared specially to get there. There is no way you can pass. So those are not your truth. That you cannot get somewhere is not your truth, and it's not God's truth for you. You should never buy into that. That you only belong there, you only belong down there, or you only belong down here. You can never get there. It's not your truth, because God's truth for you has said that you will be the head, and or the head only. You will be the top. You will be the first, and first only. You are not supposed to be second. You are not supposed to be last. You are supposed to be only in the college of the best. And thank God that Professor spoke to you people today, Professor Ebafidan. He knows what that is. And he is fighting against that kind of system. But you don't allow it in your mind. It's coming from your mind. You know that the truth is, and you remember what I told you yesterday, when they deny your truth, intensify, go aggressive. You know, you need to add aggression and intensity and go for it, and don't agree with whatsoever people are telling you. In my own case, let me tell you my story. First of all, I will start by telling you that when I was in the university, I came from Nigeria, and when I was in Nigeria, I was living in a village, very small village. And in that village, nobody speaks English. Even in the school, you don't speak English. They have English language as a class, but they don't speak English. You only have it as a class. So, but sometimes a teacher might come and say, no vernacular, only English. But nobody speaks it because everybody just keep quiet. So I never spoke English while I was in Nigeria. That's where I'm going to. So I never spoke English. Even though Nigeria is an English-speaking country, but I never spoke it. But I knew it in the head because I was going to the class, but I never spoke it. No practice, never spoke it. So when I got to Russia, even though I was always passing the exam, because in Nigeria, you didn't need to speak to pass. You just needed to write. So I was writing the exams, and I was passing. So I got a scholarship, one of the best in the country. So I came out of the country, but I never spoke English. Nobody could believe that. But but I still was one of the best in the country. So I got a scholarship to come here. So when I came here, because I didn't come on time, I was late. Because when I came here, I had a lot of problems. Because I had an admission to Columbia University in America. So when I came here, I saw Russia. I said, you're having ladder here and things like that. Even in Nigeria, they don't have ladder again. So I wanted to go back. So I lost 2 weeks. Yeah, I wanted to quickly go back and go to America. So I lost 2 weeks in protesting in the hotel. Then they sent me to school. So by the time I got to the school, my class, which was the last class there, the last batch of foreigners to study the language, they had studied for 2 weeks. And they had studied the alphabet. And when you study the alphabet, it means they had started to read Russian language. And I didn't even know A, B, C in Russian language, nothing. So after 2 months of struggling to catch up with my classmates, the teacher just gave up on me. The professor said, you will never pass. You will never even pass this school, this language school. You will never be admitted into the university in Russia here. And you will never make it. You will never speak Russian language. You will never. In fact, he said, I don't believe in God. You say you believe. I said, God will help me. He said, God, forget about God. He said, God is helpless in this situation. God cannot help you. He said, because I'm the expert. God is not the teacher. I'm the teacher. And I'm telling you, I'm the teacher. I know. I'm telling you, as a teacher, I'm the one to pass you. There is just no way you pass. When a teacher, your own teacher who is supposed to pass you, says it's not God who's going to give you the mark, I'm the one to give you the mark, and you will not make it. That sounds very hopeless. Because, so, how will you then make it? So I knew, but that was not God's position. Because I knew, since I had decided to stay back, to study here, and my scholarship in America was for August, and this was now October. I had lost that scholarship already, so I didn't have any way to go back. So I knew, God had to help me. So because how I knew that God had to help me was because I knew the truth of God, and God's truth was one. Before I left Nigeria, my sister had told me, and showed me the scripture in the Bible where it says, "You shall be the head and not the tail, first and not the last." So that is the truth. And whatever God says is the ultimate, is the supreme. So since I know that's what God said regarding me, I knew that whatever the teacher had said is not the truth. So you have to know how to war and fight with your truth. So you have to know how to, when doubts come to you, how to stand strong in your truth. When people explain away your truth and give you their own proofs and evidences why you cannot make it, you still have to know how to stand strong in your own truth, firm in that truth, and war with it. So the principles of warring with your truth is what I gave you yesterday. So I'm not going to repeat those. So at the end of the day, because I did not compromise with that truth of God, so you have to be firm in your own truth. So these things, whenever you read the Bible, or you come to church, or your parents tell you some truth, don't just know them in the head, or just be frivolous about them, because you will need them. For example, my sister told me that scripture. She showed it to me in Deuteronomy 28 verse 13, and she spoke to me about it, that I could be the head and not the tail, even if I was coming from that village of 40 houses. So if I had just been playing around when she was talking and I didn't pay attention, it wouldn't have helped me later on in life. I would have been damaged and defeated. But because I didn't just hear her say that, I took it seriously. I took it seriously that it is true, because this is the word of God. So I was established in my truth, in the truth that I am the head and I'm not the tail, and that I will be the head and not the tail. So no matter the professor and his status and his authority, he couldn't shake me, because I knew God is bigger than any professor. Why am I telling you guys this example? You will need it. There will be so many pressure. There will be so many times that people that you respect, or people who are supposed to be your guardians, or people who are supposed to be your teachers even, will come up with alternative arguments to try to crush your faith. To cut the long story short, because I stood on that, you remember I told you yesterday that I would go after classes to the library to read for 6 more hours after school. Well, that was one of the ways I was fighting, and I was fighting for my truth and in my truth. So it was not enough to just pray to God and say, God, come help me. Your word has said this. But I needed to walk it through as well. So I was fighting for that truth, by working hard, and on the basis of truth, by being diligent and hardworking. So by the end of the year, I was one of the best. I was actually the best student of that professor. And he didn't have any option than to give me the mark, because nobody did better than me. So he couldn't, even though in fact, he actually said, if you will ever pass this class or this school, I will go to I'm an atheist, I'm a communist, I don't believe in God, but if you ever pass, I will go to church and burn a candle for you. Because, which is like, he said to him, that was an abomination. Something that is never should be done. But if you will pass, I will know there is a God somewhere. So I will go and put a candle. And I passed. And I became not just pass. I didn't just pass. There was nobody better than me in the school. So what am I trying to say? When people tell you, when people try to explain away your truth, war with your truth. Fight with your truth. And produce better results, and let the results speak for you. Let me give you another example of myself. For a long time, and I think today, thanks to the internet and to the exposure that I started having of late, I think more people are getting to know of Pastor Sunday and of Ukraine and what I've done. Not too many people still, but some people have gotten to know. But before now, less people knew. And the people who knew, some of them had excuses for my success. Okay, for example, when I used to travel and they will see the video about our church and what we have done, and some people will say things like this. Well, it is because Pastor Sunday is able to do that because he's in an Eastern European country. The Eastern Europeans, they didn't know anything about God. They were atheists, communists, so they just saw the gospel for the first time and they became excited. That's why he has a big church. Then other people will say, well, it's because they've never seen black men, so all of them came to see black men. That's why he has a black church. I mean, he has big church. Other people say, well, it's just lucky. Other people say, well, it's because there are not too many churches there. Other people, all kind of explanation. We use alternative explanations. Remember that word. Whenever people confront the truth, they either submit to the truth, and because of human pride, not everybody is ready to submit to the truth. But they begin to give downplay your truth and give alternative explanations. But now, you people who now know me, and I'm now speaking not in Russian language, but in English for people to understand, I think it is now more easier or more easily explainable that there is a logic behind Pastor Sunday's success. Not just because they've never seen black men before. And it's hard work. Most of you now know my work ethic more, and you now know my principles. I tell you, all those same principles, if they are applied in any country, it's going to be the same results. But I was trying to tell people before that, but they couldn't just understand. But now when they listen to and they see my intensity and my work level, and they see me coming out 2 times a day on Facebook every day, and they see the principle that I'm teaching. In fact, people who even told me before that Nigeria, forget about Nigeria, Nigeria is hopeless. You can never make a difference. You can never make a difference in Nigeria. After they started listening to my messages and started reading my books, they said, now we believe you can do it. You see, people are always going to have an explanation for whatever truth you come with. People are going to come and say, for example, when I was in my village, all my teachers were saying I was dull. And I myself knew that we were poor. While in Nigeria, the only explanation I knew for my own poverty and for our family's poverty and our community's poverty was that we were not lucky. So that, from my culture where I grew up, they will always talk about destiny, God, fate, favor of God, God's selection, destiny. That God's favor has not come to your own area, or God has not smiled at you. But they never told me that life is governed not by God's good wish or bad wish, and not by God's mood and temperature that day. That is not the weather that decides God's temperature, and it's not God that decides who's going to smile at and who's not going to smile at. They never told us that there are actually principles that are responsible for life results. So nobody ever told me that there are more logical explanations to success and failures. We just thought that everything is in the hand of God. So it means it's not in his interest to make you successful. Or you have not prayed enough. Or your time or your turn has not come. So that is those things. And when I was growing up, I was watching our own plays, films, local films and songs. You know, people sing. I was hearing songs like in my own Yoruba language. There is a very good song I used to like so much. So they used to say Ori mi Ori something about Ori. You don't know it? Okay, that is destiny. It is destiny. Ori mi Ori something. It is Ori. Something. It is. Ori lomo. What was it? Ori lomo lola. Ori lomo lola. Viva Macha Lola Lola. Something. What was it? I can't pick the words again. But Boya ma do Lola Lola Ori Lomo. That is only I don't. What does it mean? You can explain it. Yeah, destiny. Only the destiny knows and decides. So you just say, so you are just at the mercy. Yeah, you are at the mercy. So you are just at the mercy of destiny and everything. Because, people don't have better explanation. People explain away everything. So that kind of thing, makes people to be looking for favor. Even up to today, people come on my platform and said, we are looking for destiny helper or something, what they call it. Okay, pastor, you are my destiny helper. Okay, good, not bad. Good. No, but it has become a concept that somebody has to help you. There must be somebody to lift you. There must be somebody, not principles. So your destiny is now hinged to another person's mercy or another person's favor. Or even though that is exception. Yeah, God could use people, but that is not the order. That is an exception. God will use people, but don't rely on that. Do your best. Do your best. Follow the principles. Follow truth. So that is what things they don't tell us sometimes. That, abide by the principles. Follow the principles. So the kids, you kids, what I'm telling you is, don't believe any explanation. That is why you cannot make it, because of this thing. That's why it will not happen. Okay, for example, when I was growing up, I just believed it. It's not my destiny to be wealthy or to be successful. It is, we have to wait for destiny, something to happen. Don't believe that. Believe what God has said. You will be the head and not the tail. You will be first and not last. God is on your side. God has created you to manage the earth. You are going to be in charge. You just need to study. You need to grow. You need to discover things you don't know. You need to, to follow certain principles in life. And then you will be able to become anything you want in life. Don't let anybody put you down. Just like I used to have a teen, maybe 10 years ago, I had a teen, something, HMT like this here. And there were a lot of boys from England that time. And all these boys, all of them were dreaming of becoming footballers or singers. Either singers or footballers or actors. I said, so no more profession in the world? Because that's what they have directed them to. Only things that are connected to talents. Naturally, visible talent. But not to rule. Not to take over England. Not to rule over the nation. Just something to entertain other people. So don't agree. Don't let people explain away your destiny, your truth. Yes, please. You have a question? Please give her the microphone. Let Abiola ask a question. Yes, please. It's on.
What do you mean by when you say rule over the nation?
Rule over a nation?
Yeah.
Okay, you come and explain. You know what that means?
All right.
Paul will help you out with that one. She wants to rule over the world, not just nation.
Yes. I want to rule over the world. Well, okay. So God, when he created the world, he made the earth and the stuff on it, and then he created man, and he put him there to tend to the earth. So to take care of the ground and to name all the animals, to take care of what he had created. And today, we're still humans, and our purpose hasn't changed.
Yes.
We're the salt and light of the earth, especially because the world has been corrupted by sinful culture. We have to go into the earth, and we have to promote God's principles. But maybe it's sad because we're lazy, but we're not supposed to promote it just anyhow. It says in Deuteronomy 28:13 that we're the head and not the tail. And Jesus and all the apostles showed us clearly that when we go somewhere, we're going to subdue the land through
the nation upside down.
Yeah, through the kingdom of God. So
the kingdom of God, it's a metaphor, but it's a really good metaphor because what the kingdoms do, they conquer. And the kingdom of God, God created the whole universe. So basically, as Christians, we should be rulers of the whole universe. So if we're here, then there shouldn't be any influence in our area that's bigger than God's influence. So ruling over England may not mean that they lead an armed invasion or that they take up all the seats in Parliament, though that would be really cool, wouldn't it be? Like, guys, seriously, wouldn't it be? English people complain about the government so much.
Bring the answer to it.
Yeah, it just means that in whatever you do, you dominate it so much that, you know, it says in the Bible that, like, live so that other people, that even the Gentiles, live a life among the pagans so much that they will see and glorify the Lord God because of it. That's what it means. You just have to be the ruler in everything you do. Even if, okay, you're called to become a singer. Of course, many people are called to become singers, but not just like, If you're called to be a singer, if God has called you to be a singer, God called you to do it. You got to be big. You're like
eyes of the person who called you.
Yeah. So because England right now, it's under the control of the world. It's under the control of the flesh. But we are from the spirit. We have to be bigger than that, and we have to be stronger than that.
So that means any area you are, if you are from England, if you have passion for music or producing music production, for example, you are going to be so good that you are going to be number one there. That way you are ruling over that sphere of life. If it's politics, that's where your passion is. So you are so good and influential politically that you rule over the politics of that land. Or maybe education, maybe science, or maybe medicine. Just anywhere you see yourself in, and when you become the best there, you rule over that sphere of life. Yeah. So, yeah, what time is it? Yeah, I think it's about time for me to...
I had a quick question.
Okay, please.
I seen
No, wait for the mic first.
Yeah, I seen a video about you saying something about we have to serve man first. How do you feel like we should do that if the only man we could serve is not serving God?
Oh yeah, no problem. We can serve all men. Either they serve God or they don't serve God. For example, in Ukraine here, when I came here, all of them virtually nobody was a believer, maybe a few people. But I was serving them, and because I served them, they became believers. And then, not just that, but what better way for me to reveal the nature of God if not to go and serve? Then they'll be able to, even if I'm serving as a slave, like Nehemiah, when he was serving in the palace of the king as a slave boy, the slave saw the glory of God in him, and then he was released into his destiny. Same with Esther, with all kind of Ezra, all kind of people in the Bible. Same with Joseph, same with Daniel. So when we serve, if the Bible actually said that we can never be in charge or be trusted to be in charge of our own territory until we've proved faithful in another man's territory or in another man's vision. So that means it's also teaching us that when I'm going to be serving another person, while I'm serving that other person, there are some things that I might need to learn. I might need to learn some skills because some people have gone ahead of me. They know some things better. So while I'm serving them, while I'm working under them, it's just a temporary thing. I don't need to wait for them to release me or anything, but I know that I'm serving them right now so that I will have the right heart. So, I'll be able to gain the right heart to serve, the right of a slave, of a servant. Because if I just want to lead and rule, and I never had the heart to serve, then when I become a leader, I will not be serving. I will be dominating. So, but before I become a leader, that's why it's definitely necessary that I learn to serve first, to become a servant first. Then when I become a leader, I'm a servant leader because I already learned how to become a servant. So that's on one hand. So, but while I'm serving, I'm not just getting the right heart, but I'm also getting the skills and experience from who I'm serving. So because when I get that experience and skills, just like when David was serving as a shepherd boy, he never knew that would be needed for him to shepherd a nation. Or like Moses, when he went to be a shepherd for his father-in-law, he never knew he was going to shepherd the whole nation. So, but that process of shepherding gave him the skills necessary to now become the shepherd of a nation, the shepherd of Israel. So, there is a lot of sense and a lot of wisdom in learning to serve people. Because if you don't learn to serve people, you will later dominate people. And if you ever become a leader. So, it's a balanced kind of thing. And there is a process in life. So just like we have to go through school, also we need to go to a process of, being faithful in little and being faithful in something that belongs to other people. And then God will be able to trust us with something big. Yes, please.
Because there is a misconception.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Nikki. There is a misconception concerning what you just said, that you must be faithful in the little, because this is the statement that most men of God use to captivate those under them. They say, you must serve me. You are in this church. You don't have any vision. And until you serve me, when the Holy Ghost reveals to me, that is when you are set free. Yeah, so can you elaborate on that, or say the difference between the serving you mean and this captivation, or what will I say, that men of God used to confuse people? The difference.
I didn't know they used that too.
They use it?
Okay, even if they use that, you must be faithful in little. Faithful in little doesn't have anything to do with church. That's what you must know. When the Bible was talking about this in Luke chapter 12, I think, it didn't say in church. So faithful in little is a principle of life. Because everything starts small before it becomes big. So my faithfulness in little, even in my own house, even in my own personal business, my faithfulness in little prepares me to be trusted with much. It doesn't have to be under somebody, but those are two principles. Actually, Jesus mentioned three principles. Faithfulness in little. That one is regarding what I do everywhere. And everywhere I am, I must try to be, not to despise little things. I must always try to be as responsible for little things as well as big things. Because the way you do small things, that is eventually how you do big things. If you are nonchalant to little things and small things because they are small and you are despising it and you just do anyhow, by the time you are trusted with something bigger, unknowingly it's recorded in your subconscious that is the only way you know how to act and how to do things. You will end up doing things that of higher responsibility, of bigger things, even the same way you are doing the little things. You are just the same. You are going to be the same. You are who you are. You are going to be the same everywhere. Because that's why great responsibilities don't come to people who have not proved to be highly responsible in little things. That's what Jesus was trying to say there. It doesn't have to be in church. I don't know why people connect that with church. It's the same thing in your home, in your job, in your work. Just like if you don't study well in primary school, you never get to university. Or high school, you don't get to some. So it's the same thing everywhere. It's just a principle of life that must be obtained. Should that be applied in church? Maybe yes, but it's not. It doesn't apply just to church. It's just a principle of life. Same thing with being faithful over somebody else, another man's thing. That is also a principle of life. Another man's stuff could be your parents' stuff. Another man's stuff could be your boss's stuff. Another man's stuff could be your pastor's stuff or your church stuff. But being faithful there doesn't mean that it is the man, it is your responsibility. So, for example, if I'm being faithful in my boss's stuff, it's my right to call it off when I want to. But it is my own decision to come to be faithful under you. My decision. So I'm not waiting for your permission to let me go. Or to, it's my knowledge. It is my revelation that I need this. This will help me. If I say I'm going and you say I'm not ready, I could still go. Because I came by myself. I walk in free will to come and show faithfulness to you. But it might not be under you. It might be under another person. It might not be in the church. It might be in the world. In fact, as a matter of fact, that faithfulness in little should be better, in another man's business, should be better demonstrated actually in business or in areas where there is high demand. Because in church, it's more of volunteering. But it should be something in a place where there is a demand, more professional demand on you. So where you have to answer for it, either with your salary or with your being fired or with something. So where that's where we are more responsible. But if you go there though with your consciously that you are going there to really be faithful in another person, you don't even need control, you don't need monitoring because it's coming from your understanding. So these are principles that should be applied by an individual himself. You could be taught by the pastor could explain to you that this is good for you. But he has to explain to you so that you will like to do it. But if you are now being dominated through it, or manipulated through it, or being subjected, that is against the whole fundamental principle of God. God said you can have dominion over everything else, but not over man. So once any system that tries to dominate you is already antichrist system. So that is not Christian at all. You have to pack your load and immediately leave. It could be a pastor, it could be a business or a boss at work. Anything that attempts to reduce you, that attempts to reduce your humanity, or attempts to make you as if you are nothing, that you don't have the right to be there, because it is against the nature of God. Because God, anybody that tries to subject you, they are subjecting the God in you, because you are a carrier of God, and the nature of God and the image of God is in you. So it is nobody is having the power enough to put you under, subject you, and oppress you. That's why, it says that, Jesus said it, that people in the world who are leaders, they rule by subjecting and oppressing people under them. He said, but for you it must not be so, because it's wrong. God doesn't permit for that. That's why when you look at the Bible, you will see that the disciples of Jesus will lie on him, on his bosom. They will hug each other. They will lie even there. I'm a pastor, I'm sitting down, you come and lie on me. What's wrong with you? But with Jesus, that's the way it happened. So it means that's the kind of liberty and freedom that they had. They didn't see themselves as oppressors or superiors. They see themselves as ladders and as bridges to really help lift up others. Anybody want to speak?
Then get up.
My leg's broken. No, I had one more question. It had to do with what you were saying.
The camera is not picking you up. The camera needs to be able to pick you.
Hey, camera. I had one more question. It had to do with what you were saying. Well, I know in the Bible it says respect your elders and respect honor your mother and father. You live a long life, right? So I would say, what if your parents are the ones that are oppressing you? For example, like a Cinderella story or something like that. You guys know the movie Cinderella or the story Cinderella. What if it's like your parents, someone that God actually told you to honor, because you will live a long life, because you have to respect them, because they're your elders and you're your parents, but they are the ones oppressing you. What are you supposed to do? They're the ones belittling you and making you feel like you are nothing. What are you supposed to do in a situation like that?
Okay, very good. Very, very good. There are two things. When it comes to your parents, the number one thing with the parents is that because we live in a legal society, and in a legal society, there is something that is called adulthood and children. So if you are a child before 18, in most countries it's 18. Before you are 18, you are under the responsibility of your parents in most countries. And that means that you need your parents' permission to do most things. Or alternatively, it could mean that your parents are responsible for you. That means they are responsible for your food, for your housing, for your daily life and survival. So as long as you are under the authority of your parents, as long as you are under the protection or covering, or you are under, you are being supported by your parents, you don't even have any right to question them. Because if you could question them, then support yourself. It's not fair. So if they are supporting you, if they are taking responsibility for you, they're giving you the house and the food and everything, and you say you have an opinion, you are not a serious guy. If you want to have an opinion, first of all, support yourself. So if you are under the authority of your parents and they are supplying everything, they are doing everything for you, you listen to them. That's just the basic thing there. But if you are already independent, because before you are independent, if you are under your parents and they are doing everything for you, it is most likely that many, many times you would think that whatever they are telling you to do is oppressive, or that they are wrong. That happens to all of us, especially in the teenage years. I thought like that many, many times. You never know if your parents have your best interest in mind or not. But let me tell you, after I've lived to be a child and to be a teenager and to be an adult, I know for sure that those people who gave birth to you, they have your best interest in mind. Because they went through so much to give birth to you, and they know how much they went through to make you who you are today. There is no other person who has your best interest in mind like them. They are not your oppressors, they are your protectors. But because of the fact that they might be seeing the world a little bit differently from the way you are seeing it, and they might not actually be seeing what you are seeing, they might be overprotective sometimes. And being overprotective might mean as if they are putting constraints around you. And those constraints around you, they are going to be interpreted by you as control and as limitation. But in their own mind, they are thinking protection. And in your own understanding, you are thinking restraint. And what did I say? What is the other? Oppression or limitation. You might think it's limitation and oppression. But really, every single parent is having the best interest of his own child at heart. But then there is a stage where that shifts. When the parents are no more responsible for your day-to-day maintenance and support, when you are on your own, so how do you still fulfill that commandment to honor your father and mother while you are away, you are on your own, and they are really not responsible for you anymore? Yes, you still have to maintain. You still have to keep that commandment, but in a totally different way than when you are under them. So now that you are supporting yourself, you are working, you are in charge of your life, that honor and the conditions of honor all now comes to your jurisdiction and prerogative. What does that mean? Before you were independent, it is all, the onus is on your parents. And it is all their jurisdiction, and it is also their prerogative. They dictate the terms of honor. I don't know if you're getting it. So they lay down the terms of honor, how you honor them. And whatever they say, you have to obey. But when you are independent, they don't have, that shifts. The terms and prerogative of honor comes to you now. You now decide how you honor them. So you are no more listening to them like you were when you were before 18, when you were under them. But you are listening to, you are hearing what they are saying, but you take the decision how you will obey what they are saying and honor them. But you still have to honor them, but more coming from your understanding of that honor. I don't know if that is clear enough. Oh, that's tough. Huh? It's tough for parents. Parents don't also recognize. Parents still want to keep. Well, now the battle now is the parents still want to maintain the domineering control they were having before he's 18, and they will keep on. But that then it comes to control or domination, which is what Paul was talking about when he says, parents, don't provoke your children, because that leads to provocation. But it is actually at a point where parents now should recognize and realize that if they are taught the kids well, the kids will still come back to honor them without them controlling those kids. So they must let the, what do we call this, that the horse, the horse, the saddles, the reins of the horse go. Just let the reins, leave the reins, give up the reins. That is what the parents are supposed to learn to do. Most parents never really learn to do that. That's where the problem is. But then, you as a kid, you have your liberty and freedom. You take your decisions, and then you take, including the decision to honor your parents, the way you understand it or the way you have been taught. Yes, sir. Microphone, please. The world. Is the microphone? Okay, closer a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that 18, you know, where is it coming from? And
from the society.
From the society. and as Christians, how, to what degree do we implement that? You know, to what degree do we implement that? I'm looking at some situations.
I shouldn't have included the 18. I think I should have just leave out the part that I said, if you are still under your, because you could still be 25 and they're still paying for your school fees. Or you could still be 25 and they're still living in your house. So as long as they are still under your supervision or care, then they pull the trigger. I think that would be the balance of it. Come there. Go.
Well, I'm just happy at that suggestion too. I mean, I think that's a very good observation you have, that 18 isn't a number given to us specifically by God, it's from the world. But you know, Pastor Bose came here earlier and she taught us that as young people, right now is our time to prepare for when we will be adults, to learn to set goals and to achieve them and to go towards them. And right now we have so much because of all the people around us waiting on us that we can use to grow and learn to achieve more. So I think that maybe 18 is good just as like a challenge, because before your children reach 18, you have to challenge yourself. You have to take them from the completely helpless and pampered, you know, very unintelligent human being that they're going to start with, to a person that can support themselves and cook for themselves, and maybe support themselves, like get a job, because they'll be going off to university. So, right, 18 is the number that we got because of the world's institutions, because of schools, and because, you know, of a system that isn't perfect. But I think that that this is one of those cases, like
starting point.
I think this is one of those cases, like sometimes people would ask Paul, like
orientation.
I know. I'm just saying that I don't think that it's. I think that we should just use that to our advantage. Yeah, even if it's from the world. For example, like Paul said something about meat markets, like they're selling, the pagans are selling the meat that they use for their sacrifices. Is that okay? And he was like, it doesn't matter. You're not worshiping Satan, but eating the meat. Why don't you just use the energy you got from that meat to do God's will? And I'll say the same thing about the age 18. If your child is really immature and you can keep him at home, like if your child really still needs help and you can, and he needs to like stay at home with you because like what needed to be done doesn't need to be home, then of course what needed to be done that wasn't done, then of course keep him at home. But if that chance has already been missed, he has to go to university now, he has to leave the house now, then you know you have to pray, you have to try it, but you know, God, time and chance happens to everyone. So I think we should just take that as a challenge, like, okay, maybe, so then if 18 is when it's going to happen, then all right, before 18, make sure our children have a foundation in God. Make sure that they know how to cook and that they know what, you know, yeah, and that they know what we're learning here now, to stand firm in their truth and to see themselves the right way. So, but thank you for that insight very much too.
Yeah, thank you for the insight. You great answers, honestly. I would say the 18 thing, I would say, to be honest, what is really getting someone ready? Because really in the society, it's really like we kind of include maturity with money. Like money is equal to maturity. So if you're 12 years old and you're a millionaire, then you can take care of yourself. You just could pay someone else to take care of you in your own house. So how would we, the thing that we maybe have to figure out is what are the morals that a child needs to be able to take care of himself on his own. So if every parent knew that and instilled that into their kids before they were 14 or before they're 18 or before a certain age, then we would be for sure that they would be able to take care of themselves. But not every parent does that, so we would never know, because it's like, especially Nigerian parents, it's just looking at you like, how much money are you making? How much money, you know? So that's what it really is. I hope you guys understand me. Yeah. Okay. That's about it.
Sorry. What I want to say is, some children, especially when they're like 14, 15, they can't even handle money. When you give them money, they just spend it anyhow. I've seen examples, but I'm not going to mention names. Anyway, once you put it in the bank, before you look, it's gone. So that kind of a person, even if you say, go and read, money won't make you rich. You'll be saying, no, my mom, I can't be, Dad, I can't be, I can't be, okay, I'll read it tomorrow. So what are you going to do in that? Because you can't leave that kind of a child at 18, because it's going to blow up, all the money. So how can you, what can you say about that?
Chris, napping on the kids. He's
the
smartest.
11 years old. I've seen this becoming a battle now. It's interesting for me, and I like it to go on. But I think everything has a lot to do with rights and responsibility. So once you have some sort of right to do something, you also have responsibility that goes along with it. So for both parents and also both the young people, that they feel like at a certain age, they're mature enough. Every maturity or every independence that you have, it comes with a lot of responsibility, and you have to be equipped in order to take on those responsibility. In terms of parents that are saying at a certain age, or maybe your child can't do anything, the onus is on you when they are still under you to train them in order to be able to do those things, and trust your training as well. You cannot actually raise children for 18 years for a period of time and you don't have any fruit or any confidence in those children that you've raised. You must have some sort of confidence because you've done a good job. A lot of the young people say here that they're capable, from what I'm hearing, that they're capable. And if they're not capable, it's because they don't have the tools. So what they're asking for is the tools from a very early age, such as this. This is a tool where you're bringing them to HNT to learn. This is a tool, and it's a good tool. But it's not the only tool. There's many facets to life. And the quicker you start to teach them the things that they need to know, and not kind of like wrap them cotton wool so that they can be in your home forever, or you benefit from them being around and being your children, the better for you too, and the sooner they will start to take on responsibility. But it is important also for these young people to know that any independence that you have, any freedom that you have, it comes with a lot of responsibility. And those responsibilities is really huge.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Joy.
I've also found something that you said, and like the faster you're this more straightforward, and the faster your children learn, they have a stronger foundation than other children. And my sister told me one day, if you fail to prepare to fail. And so we need to prepare your children for the future, otherwise they will not no benefit. Like my mum as an example, her mum was straightforward with her and taught her the right things, and now her mum can benefit that she's got a good family. She can pay for her mum's stuff and stuff like that.
Brilliant girl. Wow. Amazing. No joy. Joy. Queen Anastasia. Joy. Beautiful girl. Wonderful. Wow. Well, the time is up, long up. And especially when you are dealing with kids, I always want to end up earlier. Well, I'll be with you tomorrow, I think 3 times. So get ready. God bless. Hello, everybody. Let's welcome people watching us from home. Hello, everyone. Wave to them, wave to them. Okay. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Take your seat. And we're going to continue our class today. We're going to be talking about truth. How many of you remember what we spoke about truth yesterday? Okay. Yeah? Do you remember? Please come and tell me. You have the microphone? Give me a small summary of what you understand from yesterday. Come stand here.
Well, I remember that you told us yesterday about the truth, and that you have your truth, and no one, whoever it is, whatever he says to you, this is nothing, because if you know that something is truth, this is the truth. And you should not be scared, because if you know the truth, truth is before you, and God with you, and truth is the most important thing, in one of the most important things in our life.
Yep.
After willpower. And probably you always should tell truth, because if you are lying and then someone knows you're lying, and it is a little bit uncomfortable, and God says that you shouldn't lie, and that you should tell the truth. Oh.
Very good. Okay.
Yesterday we were talking about.
I'm sure you need to speak louder, because some people were complaining this morning that your voices were not loud enough. She spoke loud enough, but you need to speak loud enough.
Yesterday you were talking about people. When you try to tell someone the truth, they always try to find excuses for doing the wrong thing.
Alternative explanations. Remember that word. Alternative explanations. Alternative explanations. Yeah.
And because they know it's the truth and they don't want to hear it or have to explain for what they did for themselves, they make excuses of their own. And you also remember what Paul was saying as well about that God isn't something that you can put in the lab, because the lab science is described as what man see about the earth, or what they learn about the earth, and that people will always try to deceive you about the truth and try to make you do what they want you to do, but you must always stand on your side of the truth.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody ready to speak? To tell us more? Yeah, please. No, yeah, this here. Start from here.
So, what I remember is that, as Sydney said, you're always going to be faced. People are always going to try to explain away the truth. There's always going to be alternative explanations. And because of this, you have to stand. Oh, okay. Because of this, you have to stand strong.
Jale walichera show golos unik tiki golos udete tak to można specjalna tam. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so and because of this, you have to be strong in your truth, and you have to really believe in your truth, because your truth, when you stand on the side of the truth, you stand on the side of God, and when you stand on the side of God, you have a whole army behind you, even though people may not see it. It may not be seen with the naked eye, but there's always going to be someone backing you. And it doesn't matter how many people, it doesn't matter if the whole world is against you. You should present your truth, but don't be aggressive with it, don't be violent with it. You should, when people are trying to shame you, you should laugh and just make sure you're strong in your truth, because if not, you're going to be swept away by what they are saying, and you're going to think that what they're saying is all right when really they are lies.
Okay, thank you. Any other person? Yeah, please come.
Yes. Yesterday we talked about alternative explanations, and that whatever truth you have, people are going to reject it, and one of the most common ways for people to reject it is to make up alternative explanations for the truth. So you could have a truth, because of that truth there are some other things, but people will say, yes, these things are here, but they're because of this, or they're this way. And people will always try to do that. And so it's our job to stand for the truth, even if it makes them feel uncomfortable, even if it might...
Okay, go ahead.
Even if it might make you feel uncomfortable, you just have to submit to the truth. You just have to be in total submission to the truth and rooted in the truth. And for that reason, you shouldn't let anything that they throw at you, because they'll try to use authority, and they'll try to use appeal to emotions, and they'll try to make up any excuses and throw them at you, but you should never be able to be faced by that, because you are so established in the truth. But also that you should also be warring with your truth, because people will try and explain away your truth and what God has put in you. So that means that you have to be aggressively working on yourself, or aggressively loving, or aggressively being peaceful, so that you can make a bolder statement of truth then that will be able to counter the alternative explanations that are always going to pop up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep on talking on the truth today. And the basic topic this week that I'm addressing is called why people reject the truth. There are many reasons why people reject the truth. And let me remind you of some of the points that we already spoke about. People reject the truth mainly because an authority figure had spoken lies to them, and they have believed the lie. Or an authority figure has told them that they shouldn't listen to the truth. So most of the time we don't really believe things because they are truth, but we believe things because people we respect told us that we should believe it or we shouldn't believe it. We actually mostly believe what people we respect tell us to believe. So that is with the role of authority figure, and that's the bad thing in the authority, in not finding out the truth for yourself. If you just follow what the authority figure will say, that could lead you astray, because most of the time we believe not the truth. But you should be more careful to follow and search out the truth, to make sure that you are always following truth rather than what people tell you, even if they are authority figure. Then the next thing we say is that authority is good. We had another topic that says authority is good, but credibility is better. Look for credibility of whatever an authority figure is telling you. Yes, we respect authority, we respect leaders, but we always must look for the credibility to whatever they are saying. And only after we have found out the confirmation and the credibility or the truthfulness of whatever they are telling us, then we believe it. So that way we know we are standing on solid ground. The next reason why people reject the truth is because the truth might be contrary to their belief system. When people find that the truth is contrary to their belief systems, they normally fight it. They normally fight the truth. And because of pride and because, of dogma, because people are conservative and things like that. So the next reason why people reject the truth is because the truth they feel might offend them. People feel whatever you are saying is offensive to them. For example, when you speak to a Muslim that he needs to become a Christian, he might see that as offensive. So when people think that the truth you are bringing to them is offensive, they tend to reject that truth rather than to humble themselves and receive the truth. Next point is that many people think that many people might not like the source of the truth that you are bringing. If they feel that they don't like the source of the truth, they don't like you, or they don't like your style, or they don't like where that truth is coming from or what angle it's coming from, they might also want to have the tendency to reject the truth. Another reason why people reject the truth is because they have alternative explanations. That's what we went through yesterday. They have an alternative explanation, and that alternative explanation make them to want to kind of reject the truth that is being taught to them. But today, I'm going to be talking on another factor that makes people to want to reject the truth that you present to them. And that factor is the fact that people you are talking the truth to might sometimes think that they have other evidences, or they have other evidences, or another evidence, or other evidences to what you are saying, or against what you are saying, or to counter what you are saying. So many people might think, well, whatever you are saying is good, but they think that they actually have another or better evidence to prove the opposite, or to prove the opposite of what you have just told them. Like, for example, if you want to, let's use the example of a Muslim also. If you want to win over a Muslim to your side, you want to evangelize a Muslim person, and you are telling them Jesus Christ is the only way. Jesus is the only way. What do you think a Muslim guy would say? What do you think a Muslim person would say? Come and say, take the microphone.
I think the Muslim would be like, why would you say that to me when you know I'm a Muslim? And don't you think I've heard about this before? This is all over the world. Yeah, but what is going to be his counter-argument? What is it going to say? When you say Jesus is the only way, what will he say? Allah is the only way. Huh? Allah is the only way. He will say Allah or Muhammad is the only way. It's because you are saying Jesus, he will say Allah or Muhammad. So what does that mean? That is referring to another evidence. Another evidence. So, you have a fact, an evidence of what you are saying, and it will come together with another evidence. So that might be another reason why people reject the truth. And we are going to be dealing with, when that happens, what should we do? Now, do you know other examples why when you talk to people about God or about truth in general, do you know, or all of you, this is a question to all of you, can you people tell me other instances apart from what I just gave you, the example I just gave you? What are the other instances or examples when people would normally give you an alternative evidence or other evidences to counter whatsoever truth that you are trying to tell them? What are the evidences people would normally give? Yes.
I think one of the most common ones is with like creation and how if you say like creation, okay. So like if you say God created the universe and the earth, they'll be like, oh yeah, but the Big Bang happened a couple billion years ago. Yeah, beautiful. And
that's another beautiful example. People will always, when you talk about creation, people will always tell you about what do you call it? Evolution. Yeah. They will tell you about evolution, which is another evidence from their own point of view, and they have their own facts. Now, These are the things people say, and it's important for you to know. So for you as kids, you must know that the world is not waiting for you. And the world is not waiting for you with an embrace. Oh, come with the truth, okay, especially truth about God. You are going to face hostility. People are going to dispute whatsoever truth you're coming with. Even if you have great evidences or great arguments, just for you to know, it's normal. It's normal that people will come with alternative evidence. But when they come with the alternative evidence, just listen to them, give them the benefit of a doubt, make sure that you give them a chance to speak their mind, let them bring out the opposing evidence they have. Don't go ahead and fight them immediately. Don't go ahead and begin to dispute with them. Don't go ahead and begin to argue and immediately, no, there's a time for everything. Listen to them, then I will tell you what to do to, counter and to come out of the situation victorious. So, but before then, apart from evolution, creation and evolution, what are the other examples that you people could think of people coming up with other evidences or with different, alternative evidences or opposing evidences to the truth that you are presenting to them? Yeah. Always move faster between there and here.
There is the debate as to whether or not abortion...
Come again?
There's the debate of abortion as to whether or not it's inhumane or immoral or should be illegal because it's the murder of an unborn child. But other people will say, well, no, it's not the murder of an unborn child. It's not a human yet, or, it was created in a way that isn't really fair for the person that got it, so it's actually more humane to abort it.
So that is another evidence that people come out. When you talk about death, killing of kids, is it not strange and outrageous that human beings will actually have alternative evidences that will come our way or have arguments? That's like unbelievable. It's crazy. It's like the most sacred thing should be children. And for somebody, but still, even when you think it's so obvious, people will still be there that will come up with, alternative evidences. Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Okay. Any other person there yet?
This has happened to me a lot. Like
louder a little bit.
Okay. This has happened to me a lot. Like this girl that's in my school, I used to call her my friend, but she's okay. But so she comes from a Catholic family, but she turned atheist on her and she decided to be pansexual, and pansexual means that you like everyone, as in transsexuals, girls, boys, doesn't matter. So she said that she wanted to be, she's pansexual, right? And I remember we were having this conversation because it was during RE, like a few years ago. We were having this conversation about God, and she was like, and she wasn't doing any work, she wasn't writing any of it down, and because it was about Christians at the time. And I was like, why aren't you writing anything down? And she's like, I don't believe in that crap. Like, why would I believe in that? Like, and then she asked the most stupid question. Okay, so she said, if there's a really God, then why don't you see him when we're on planes? Yeah. So and I was just shocked. Like, so you expect to see an invisible God when you're in the air? Okay. But yeah, it was just really something that I was just wondering, like, is this girl serious? And it's actually things that people think about, and I didn't realize it was possible for someone to actually think like that until she said it. So that's one of the things that might come. People will ask you, will try to have to come back at you with logic that doesn't even make sense, and you just have to. And my response to it was I just kept quiet because I don't know how to answer to such. Exactly, she just embarrassed herself. So I didn't know how to answer that, so I just kept quiet. So that's what happened to me.
Okay, so that is another example of when we come up with the truth, to be prepared and to always know that there will always be somebody there that will come up with other evidences or opposing evidences, and they will have some evidences that they will use. Any other example like that? Any other person wants to tell us other examples of opposing evidences to truth that people normally use, please?
Some of the evidences people might come up with might be incomplete or unbiased, or biased or downright just, stupid, but lots of people, for example, with racism, people will say like, well, see, as you can see, black people, they aren't equal to white people because, see, there's less of them in government or something, and so they're less smart, or like
in science.
And they'll say, see, they can do emotional things and they can run, they're like animals, but there's no scientists that are black, so that means that black people have no brains. And I've heard that argument even lots of people actually believe that, see, there's no black scientist people, that means they have no brains. They're just a lower level of humankind, and people believe that. So, yeah.
Okay. Yes, please.
In school, we were learning about Ari, and
about who?
We were learning Ari and
Ari. Okay.
And the topic was about Buddhism, and some of the Christians.
Buddhism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the Christians there didn't really want to learn that religion, so they started ignoring the lesson and closing their ears and saying, why should I listen to this religion and how they do their things when I'm a Christian and I have a different one.
Okay. What do you think about that?
It is a bit true, but they should accept the fact that everybody has their own religion and that we learn about it in school just to know all the different kinds of religions people have.
Yes, and when you learn about them, about other religions, then you too will be able to have your own opposing evidences. So that when you know about Buddhism and anybody wants to talk to you about Buddhism next time, you know enough to be able to come up with a counter argument or alternative explanation of your own or other opposing facts that or evidence that you could use to actually counter the argument of Buddhism or any other religion. So it's not bad to actually learn about other religion. Sometimes it's good because it gives you a good standing so that you'll be able to present your own argument, counter argument, either alternative explanations or opposing views, opposing evidences in a more convincing way, in a more convincing manner. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything about that? Yep.
Good evening, everyone. It's regarding the Muslim thing you were saying the other time. Because one of my colleagues is a Muslim, and because when he told me that Christian, that we don't have complete way of serving God. He said I should go and listen to their Islamic thing. So I told him that I'm not going to have any argument with you, but do you know that Jesus is the way, the truth, and life? I said, do you know Jesus? He said, yes, I know Jesus. Jesus is part of the prophet and all. I said, forget about that. But Jesus is the truth, the life, and the truth and life. The only way. He said, okay, well, yes, it might be. And so he couldn't say anything again. I said, I don't want to have any discussion. If you don't have Jesus, that means you're not going to be with God, because it's the only way through which you can know God. So that he kept quiet. He couldn't argue with me. So
Okay.
that was the only thing.
All right.
Who else?
I know that person want to say anything. I think it's Pastor David who wants to say something.